See your thumbs.
Okay, I'm.
Yeah, there it is.
Whoa! Where did I go?
What was that?
I just like disappeared. That was weird. Did you do something, or is that a weird Zoom thing?
I don't know. I think that was you. I think that was your background.
I sparkled and
No.
disappeared into the graboid's mouth, which
You did.
graboid. It's the weird not graboid poster thing.
You may never be able to replicate that, but it was very cool.
That was magic. That was a miracle, a moment. I don't know what that was.
Dad will just pretend he's like Burt Gummer and we lost Pake. Oh no. All right. Because it's time for some podcasting. We hope you keep on listening. Because it's time for Trevor shit. Talking Trevor shit. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talking Tremors. I am your host, Levi Dylan Burzloff-Lutt, and I have two absolutely wonderful people here from the Run For Your Lives podcast. Go shoot yourselves.
Oh, I'll go first, I guess. Hi, I'm Pake from run from your lives, run from all of it. It's just run from all the things that make you sad and scared and depressed. No, for the Run For Your Lives podcast with my co-host
Daphne. Hello, I'm Daphne, and as Pake said, and as Levi said, I am co-host for Run For Your Lives podcast.
Yeah.
We talk all things monster movies, creature features, disaster flicks, horror movies. We've run the gamut. Sometimes we break that mold a little bit because we do whatever the hell we want to because it's our podcast and we can make the rules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you have another one too. It's Showtime podcast. Was I listening to that right? Where you do non-monster movie stuff. Yes.
We are part of the Podcastica podcast network, which has a whole slew of hosts and a whole slew of different podcasts about all kinds of TV and movies and pop culture. So yeah, It's Showtime, folks, is one that's on there that hasn't done anything in a little while, but we also have our own podcast. I am also on the Strange Indeed podcast on that network with my co-host Rima, and we talk about Netflix and other streaming service like sci-fi and horror and creepy shows. And then Daphne does Yellow Jackets WTF and like the Handmaid's Tale podcast and different TV shows like that. So
yeah. Whatever I'm excited about. Those are the shows that I talk about.
I can tell you guys like love. Honestly, I've because the whole thing that I do with this is I research the hell out of you, and I like to listen to everybody from their inception to where they're at now. And I have thoughts. I've listened. What's funny is I've listened to your Tremors ones before, but then I was listening to it specifically for this one. I was like, oh, we're gonna let's write some stuff down here. But it's so great to hear your evolution as podcasters, and you started out just you two, and then it grew into this much larger network with you and other people, and all the podcasts you're doing now. It's absolutely fascinating. I don't know. That's why you're on the show.
It's cool because we met as kind of fans of the Podcast Network, so that network had existed before us, and we had listened, or we're just fans of those podcasts and met up, and we're like, hey, let's do our own, and then through those connections, we actually were asked by that network to join later on. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool. But so a lot of the other podcasters have joined as guests and things.
Yeah, I think it's been about 2 years that we've been part. A year, yeah. Is it a year or two we've been part of Podcastica?
It was August 21st, or like August 21. I was looking at it. It seemed like that's when the switch to Podcastica happened because you were on another network before that.
Yes.
And then started talking Podcastica. Again, I have to research. This is all I've just been listening to all the evolution here. But this is so everyone knows that if I was listening to YouTube and I actually was like kind of kicking myself because I wish I had more. I wanted to listen to like all your episodes about stuff because just going through it, I'm a huge sci-fi horror monster movie fan, and seeing your whole catalog, I was like, oh, I want to listen to that one. Oh my, on that one. Oh, and oh my god, and that. Oh, I don't have enough time in the day for this.
Right. Lots of backlog to have fun with at your leisure. Go back.
Oh, I will be. And again, anybody else, I can see why if I had a podcast network, I would be like, "Hello, Pake and Daphne, would you like to be part of the podcast network?" Um, because yes, I would fold you into anything. Again, that's why you're here, and I love you so much. And
Hey.
for context, for everybody, for everybody, I do love these guys. I do love Pake and Daphne. They're fantastic and beautiful, and go love them in all different ways. But they started in 2020, I believe. Yeah. They started the Run for Your Lives podcast, and their very first episode was Tremors. And I have thoughts about that one. It was so odd. That was their start, and actually, I want you two to get into once I'm done with this about how you like really got together in that whole like mesh and happening. But ever since then, they've done a Tremors movie at the end of every season, every 25 episodes, and that's how I found them and found who they are and think that they're really cool. And yes, they've done all seven. Well, no, they've done. I won't say all seven. They've done seven Tremors movies. They haven't done the TV show yet. They're gonna go back and do the first Tremors movie because they really should. You guys have changed so much since then. It's
Yes, very much.
Yeah, we definitely have. That first episode was, it ended up being the first episode of our podcast, but it was really honestly our tryout to see if we could, how we would flow together as
well,
co-hosts.
and I want you to talk about that because we talked about it before on other episodes because we did an episode together, the Tremors Fest episode. But I want the people of my audience show to hear how you guys came together because I know there was a thing with another podcaster and that fell. I just stuff. That's me. That fell through, and then fake happened. Just take us through this, please.
Okay, so yeah, it was a pandemic and I'd never really thought about podcasting at all, ever. But I got encouraged by this group of people that I kind of gravitated to during the pandemic, and it was Podcastica folks. And so I got to know different people in the group. I got to guest on a couple of podcasts, and I thought, man, it'd be a lot of fun to have a podcast. And I wanted a podcast on things that I loved and things I was really into, because it could get really boring if it's not something you love. You've really got to be into it. And so I teamed up with another podcaster. We recorded a couple of episodes that were never released. And over the course of those first few episodes, I realized he's not as passionate about these movies as I am. And it just was not going to work out. And it's cool now. We're friends now, but we had already scheduled to have Pake on our show to talk about Tremors. And so I didn't know really what I was going to end up doing, but Pake and I'd kind of gotten to know each other. We'd hung out a bunch of times on Zoom. And so I just, he said, hey, I'd be interested in doing that podcast with you. And so we had our tryout was Tremors.
So it was like the third or fourth episode she had recorded of Run for Your Lives, which the name Run for Your Lives was me. I did come up
It
with that
was.
and gave her and the other host the idea for the name of the podcast. And then when things weren't working out, so Tremors was going to be like episode 4 or 5.
It was, yeah.
With me as a guest, and then it just ended up being just me and Daphne. And it flowed so well, at least. I mean, we've grown and gotten so much better over the past 4 years of podcasting. But as far as for a first podcast experience, just the two of us, we were like, this felt right. This felt good. So it became the first episode of the Run for Your Lives podcast officially with Pake and Daphne. And yeah, I was supposed to be a guest on that one because Tremors is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time since childhood. So
exactly. So we did record it. We recorded that. We went forward with the scheduled date to record the episode. And about it was probably 5 or 10 minutes in, I was just like, okay, yeah, this is what it's supposed to be like. It's supposed to be this fun. And yeah, so over the last couple of years, we've done over 160 episodes. And it has just been so much fun. And the more that we podcast, and Pake and I have just gotten to know each other really, really well. And so I think that comes across in our episodes.
I wrote a question down, and then I actually like had to go look it up because your chemistry was so great that I wrote down the question of when are you two getting married, and then I looked it up. And it was like, oh, Daphne's engaged to someone. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then your chemistry was self-evident, if that means that.
Yeah, no, we definitely have much more. It's a lot more of, I don't know if I say brother sister relationship.
Yeah,
but it kind of is. But it's just like we're good friends that like can like pick each other up when we need to and know like
Bestie.
we're kind of each other at. But yeah, but we're just like just good friends that will like definitely catch up and stuff and enjoy a lot of things together. Whether it's movies and podcasts to wrestling to whatever else, we just like to nerd out and enjoy things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've hung out a lot. We've hung out in person a bunch and a lot on Zoom and playing games and just different things. And I feel like we know each other really, really, really well. And that's just come over time, you know. I'm grateful for getting involved with that group of podcasters because I had new friends, but Pake is one of my best friends. So it's fantastic to get to get to have all this fun with him. Yeah, it's something I look forward to. And even though, you know, the pandemic is over or it seems like it's waned, I still look forward to podcasting every week. And it's a priority. I have all my other things back that I do, but Pake and I always, every Thursday are recording a new episode.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are almost at 200, and I can like you'll hit 400. Like it was really funny going through them all and being like, oh my god, like okay, now we did Tremors 2, now we did Tremor 3. You just hear oh yeah, these guys are just gonna keep going. Like if they were still making Tremors movie, you didn't have to worry about it. You'd be like,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that I don't remember how that came about, Pake. How we ended up doing it, but
yeah, just because our first official episode was Tremors, and so we wanted to. For some reason, we arbitrarily decided 25 episodes was like a milestone kind of thing to stick with. Which we got some like shit for it a little bit. Is like it's not 50, it's not 100. It's like 25 is a low bar. We're like, hey, we're new at this. We're gonna take whatever victories we got. 25 episodes is pretty damn good.
It is.
And because statistically, most new podcasts that people start don't make it past 5 to 10 episodes before they like, realize they just not cut out for it or they kind of burn out. So 25 felt like a decent milestone, and we're like, we'll kind of set that as like a season, and we can take like a month off of releasing. We'll kind of backlog a couple of episodes. We'll keep recording, but then that way we kind of have little seasons that people can expect. And we're like, well, how do we close out this first season? Well, we started with Tremors, so let's do Tremors 2. Like, let's kind of bookend it. And then we thought that was fun. And then after that, we do our actual season finale episode is like a look back special where we look at all of the movies that we covered over that season, and we kind of give our favorite characters and monsters and movies. And it's turned into its own little like Oscars award thing that we do every season where we give awards, which is fun. So that's the official. But then we just kind of decided, what if at that point there were 6 Tremors movies, and I'm like, let's just end each season with a Tremors movie because that's a fun thing to do. And then Shrieker Island came out, and we're like, well, we're gonna get to that when we get to that. And then that's been it so far as far as movies. But we're like, okay, well, we need to go back and do the series, so we can throw that in an episode, and then actually what we're gonna do at the end of this current season we're running right now is we're gonna go back and redo Tremors, the first Tremors, as in like the newer style and newer format that we do, and we feel more confident. We're like, let's revisit the first Tremors and give it a real better than a 50-minute episode look at, like quick overview.
It deserves more than that because it was I've never listened to it again because I won't listen to myself. It is a rule I have. I will not do it. I edit the podcast, and so it's like when I've edited it and it's all done, I don't know. It's like it's gone and I'm on to the next one. I know it wasn't, I mean, it was okay for our first episode, but I was super nervous, and I'm not, ashamed to say that. I was super nervous because I really hadn't podcasted that much, and Pake had done a bunch more than me, and I went through my own metamorphosis of different levels of stress about podcasting. But I know that we can do a better job with it than what we did in that first episode, because our format kind of stands on its own versus some of the other podcasts. We are character driven in our discussions. We talk about the main character and see the story through his or her or their eyes as we're telling the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when we first started, it was very much like here's our top 5 things we liked and our points, and here's a little section about our favorite quotes, and here's a little section about our favorite this. And it was very compartmentalized and formulaic.
Yeah.
And we grew out of that after a while, but we just needed to find our feet and get comfortable with who we were as podcasters. And we finally found that our unique niche, what we did well, was character assessment and like really looking at the story through the character arcs. And it's funny enough, we actually had a teacher, I think a 9th grade like English teacher, reach out to us and said that they were using our format of our podcast to help their students with their like book breakdowns and reviews and the way they were doing their book courses, because it was really cool. So I was like, that was a moment where I was like, oh, people are actually like gravitating and like reacting to this in a cool way and using it. And I was like, we've made a difference in the world in some small way. Mission accomplished.
Yep. We've got nothing more to prove now. That was such a gratifying thing. I mean, you put things out into the universe and you just don't know who's listening or where it's going or whatever. And getting that feedback was just incredible. It helped my confidence, but it also it just made me feel really good about what we put out every week.
You should. Yes, I'm here to make you feel better. So yes, you should feel good about it. You should feel amazing about it. I don't care. That's I can be very harsh on certain things, but the things that I appreciate and I think are good in the world, I like to get that light and focus it on. And you two are that so much, to the point that we have a question specifically for Pake about his positivity later. Because when you guys, I was like, oh my God. And this was like 2 years ago. Yeah, oh my God, it would have been 2 years ago. Time is horrible. And it's just like, man, these people are so positive. I fucking hate this. I was like, oh, fucking slam this, like slam this. But then it was the learning process. I'm like, that positivity is a good thing. And to the point where I love your positivity. I'm going to make you be critical on things during this show. So you better be prepared. One of the things I found, go to your first episode, this was something I found absolutely fascinating, because you're talking about how you were both. Daphne is saying she felt uncomfortable, but then Pake knew exactly what he was doing. It's funny because in that first episode, Pake, you were so, I don't want to use the word afraid, but like Tremors was this thing for you of just like, oh, I mean, yeah, I think it's funny. It's, I love it, and it's but if you don't, that's cool. That's fine. It's fine. I love Tremors, and I don't care. And you guys were really harsh on the first movie. That's why I was just like listening back, just like the last couple of days. I was like, man, they are just like shitting on this first movie, and I was like, why didn't we carry that?
I don't even remember that. Do you?
It's been that long. I don't remember.
It's been a month. Yeah,
I still have my notes in my notes apps and stuff. I could go find my notes for that first episode and see what I had written down, but I don't remember anything about recording it. So
me either.
Yeah.
And I can't like it's not like you were like, oh, this is a bad movie, but I could sense that apprehension from Pake's side. 'Cause I think it's one of those things that when you like absolutely love something and you're presenting it to like someone else, especially if it's at your first episode, you're just like, I really want you to like this, and like, I mean, I do, I really, and that's fine. I mean, that's fine. I'm gonna like it a lot to the point when you did your rating system ranking at the
Oh
end.
my gosh. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah, yeah. And
Oh.
an eight an eight something or whatever. And then you did your Tremors 2 episode and he was reevaluating. He's like, I went back and I like saw my ranking and I was like, if I want to rank Tremors 2 higher than I have to like change my Tremors 1 ranking and like
Mhm.
on it to like almost like 9 point something or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
to like an 8.3 or 8.6. But it was funny how you were like, oh, but you know what? No, no, no. Tremors is awesome to the point where only other episode that I was able to of not Tremors to listen to was your Jurassic Park episode. I thought, oh yeah,
Oh, okay.
part of it was I'd watched your My First Horror Movie
Mhm.
episode. Ken, I love that man so much. And knowing that it was Pake's first movie, and I feel like Jurassic Park and Tremors have a they're sibling
Mhm.
series, whatever. And it was really funny. And this isn't even a question. This was just like, what is going on here? That like everything that you were loving about Jurassic Park, you were like being critical to Tremors on. And I actually have a question here. This is like right in the middle, but we're here. So like, do we judge hits easier than flops? Like, because it was like I could sense this, like, well, Tremors is kind of culty and it didn't make much money, so it had some problems. But Jurassic Park, made $900 million, so it's like absolutely, like you legitimately called it a perfect movie, and I was like,
Mhm.
I think Tremors is a perfect movie, but that's fine. Well, we'll come. I'll ask you about this later. But do we, as a people, do we judge hits easier than we do a flop?
That's a good it's an interesting question. It's just like almost a psychology question where it
Mhm.
is like mind group think a little bit as far as even when people who want to think they're very individual thinkers, it is a lot easier to like just ride the wave of the zeitgeist and be like, well, everybody likes this and everybody talks about it. And as you mentioned, when it's something that critically maybe didn't do as well, it has a late bloom as far as people really caring about it. It is kind of like you almost guard your heart, like you said, where you're like, well, I like it, but maybe other people. So then you're a little more like, yeah, it's my special little trash, So yeah, I see what you're saying for sure. That it is kind of more of a psychology thing where, yeah, I feel like it definitely is easier for people to ignore like flaws, although I still will go down to say I don't know if there are any flaws to Jurassic Park. But
Oh no, no, there are not.
no, but yeah, but it is easier for things that are much more critically or even just people in general, like acclaimed by people and a lot more people to go, oh yeah, well that makes sense. Everybody loves it, so obviously I do. Versus if other people are like, you like that, then you're like, do I? Why do I? Yeah.
Yeah, but I have my own special. I don't care if anyone else hates it because I like it anyway. Movies too, for sure.
Mhm.
But Jurassic Park is perfection. And we did that movie. That was our third movie. I've not
Second.
listened.
Oh no, that was third
No,
because
that
Cloverfield
was
was second.
third.
Cloverfield was second. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, that was back when I kept track of which movies we did when. I've lost track now of what movie is what
Yeah.
number. Jurassic Park was and is my favorite creature feature movie. And the hard part with it is we did it so early on, and I still was not comfortable at that point. It took me about 6 or 7 episodes in where I started to feel like, okay, I can do this. And I won't listen to the Jurassic Park episode. I was so nervous because, again, I loved the movie and I was so afraid of not doing it justice that I was kind of a wreck throughout the whole thing. And it's just kind of like this, you go through these levels of stress that come along with doing something new. I had done a bunch of other things that I had to work through when I was learning how to do those, like photography and web design, all of those things. I had to go through all of that. But this was a much more public thing by putting out into the universe my voice, my personality, and it was a challenge for me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I felt like I was putting you on the spot, but it was me, honestly, just knowing where your love ended up for Tremors, and that was both of you, and that was so great hearing Daphne having only watched the first Tremors movie, and then slowly she'll you do, Pake. I don't mean to be like that, but like I think by the end there, I think she just might. Like, watch out. Like that's the uh-oh. Uh-oh. Which I get. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I had never seen any of them. I probably wouldn't have. But one thing that comes through with podcasting is if there's a movie that you've always wanted to see and you haven't had to see it, or you haven't had the time to see it, cover it on a podcast, because then you have to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a lot of fun because there's a bunch of movies that Pake has never seen or had never seen, and I got to introduce him to through doing the podcast, and that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And the other way around. So
and the other way around. Yeah.
That's what, like I said, I love your give and take. You're like both of you guys, like back and forth here. It's absolutely beautiful. We'll come to personal questions. Okay, this is a twofer, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Daphne, you saw Tremors in the theaters, right? That's what you said in your episode when it first aired.
We're not going to talk about age, but yes, I did see it in the theater. Yeah.
You look like you're 25. That's what I thought, right?
Thank you so much. I would not have been born when Tremors came out, so I could not have seen it in the theater if I was 25.
Hold on.
Hi, there's Caitlin.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey. Daphne. And Pake.
Hi, Daphne. It's nice to meet you.
Hello. It's nice to meet you too. I'll see you in Santa Fe.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's exciting.
She's coming. I'm dragging her along this time.
Here. There's Pake. Hi, buddy.
Hey.
Yeah.
Cool to meet you. Levi talks about you guys all the time.
Aw.
Like good people. It's a thing.
You do. You are really cool people.
I try to.
Yeah. Boop. I really like your hair, Daphne.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I love her hair. Yeah. It's really cool. I'm not trying to nothing.
I told her to cameo when she felt like it, so it's I knew you wanted to see Pake.
I did, and I really like to put a face with the name, so now I have that. Very nice.
I'm gonna query your question. I have one question for Pake real quick. This is Caitlin's question for Pake. Okay. So Pake, how high were you at Tremors Fest?
Most of the fest not too bad. Just the one night. It was actually during the screening of Tremors 4 that I decided I'd hit up the dispensary earlier that day in Santa Fe, and then realized, oh shit, I've got to fly out like in 2 days, and I have way too much stuff, so I got to use it up. And just not thinking, so I had a 100 milligram drink, and I took like a third or half of it, and I was like sitting around in the hotel room, and I was like, that didn't do much of anything. It was like a later. So I was like, you know what? I just downed the rest of it, threw it away, and I was like, let me get to the theater. Got over there, took my seat, and then it engulfed me, and the whole room started vibrating, and I don't remember anything in that movie other than people's faces morphing and eyes changing color. And the couple behind me that wouldn't shut up, and then when the movie ended, I turned around and there was nobody there. So, you know, it was a thing. I didn't get to meet and do the autographs and stuff for the Tremors 4 specific actors because I was so fucking stoned that I just walked back to my hotel and went to bed because I was like, I can't function right now. This is bad. Yeah.
Levi, where did Pake go? And then we found out later what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard the story after he told me what happened, and I
Yeah. I saw Zoran in the lobby and I was like, hey, and then I just kept going.
I especially love that you heard voices behind you and there was nobody there. That just makes it even more hilarious.
Yeah, I was telling a friend when I got back home about that experience, and she was like, how much did you take? And she was like, some people can experience hallucinations at that. And I was like, I'm very aware of that situation. Yes, you were right. Been there, done that.
Man, like I was there.
That was the one night that you went quiet because he had sent me pictures of different things and as things were going on, and then I didn't hear anything till the next day and he told me what happened.
Yeah.
Gap where Pake just kind of was floating around.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've never seen you that high ever.
Look, I make my own edibles and I do all that and stuff, and even I've never been that. That's a lot.
It was.
I mean, that's a lot. Those drinks are so concentrated that
they really. I was not ready for what I had got myself into. I didn't. I way over committed. Underestimated it for sure.
Well, if you want to do it again, I will. I'll drink one with you, and we'll go try and watch Tremors 4. How about that?
Make that part of the tradition. Is just like get way too high for that one movie every time.
Excellent. I look forward to watching that unfold. I think that could be so much fun.
I honestly, I'll imbibe for that movie, but I'm not hitting that level again because honestly, it was scary. Like I was like, yeah, no, it's not fun.
Oh, like
the engulfing while you're watching graboids is not.
Yeah, no.
No. Well, yeah, thank you for answering that question. Honestly,
genuinely curious.
Yeah, it's not something that I'm gonna like not talk. I've told my boss that story and like laughed with him. So like it's
that's awesome. And it's legal in that state, so who cares?
Yeah. That's the thing, because I'm in Texas where it is not legal. So whenever I travel to another state where it is, I take advantage of it.
We know nothing about that. We have no idea what you're talking about. What?
It's legal. It's legal in my state. Pake got to experience it firsthand because he came up. We had a podcast meetup in October, and so he came up a little bit early. So I took him to a dispensary that we have because it's been legal here for a while. So took him to a dispensary before we went down.
Yeah.
And then you went down
to Boston. We went to Boston.
I was behaved that weekend. I did good.
Oh shoot!
Managed my intake a lot better.
We get to look forward to seeing these two for real.
I'm see y'all in person.
And it's her birthday week, right?
It is. My birthday is the 19th of July.
Oh.
Yeah, and the
cool.
The timing is perfect. I'm actually just gonna stay. I have a competition to photograph the weekend before in Dallas, so I'm just gonna stay down in Texas for the rest of the week, because it makes no sense to fly all the way back to Maine and then all the way back. So I'm just gonna stay.
Yeah, when you can enjoy
some fun stuff.
Yeah, cool. That sounds awesome.
Hang out with your buddy Pake, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna do some fun stuff. Yeah.
Pake.
Well, it was lovely meeting you. I'm gonna go eat my dinner that's in the microwave, and I will see you at Tremors Fest.
You will.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Seeing ya.
Thank you for that. That was absolutely beautiful. So tiny little baby. I even remember seeing Tremors in theaters because you were obviously in your mother's womb at this point.
Of course, yes. I have always loved going to the movies. I went as often as I could. I saw Jurassic Park in the movies, of course, which came out a few years later. But yeah, I remember seeing it in the theaters. It was a fun movie, but it wasn't one that was my favorite. It was just like, okay, it's a cool concept. It's Kevin Bacon. It's fun. We'll see. And it had the guy from had the guy from Family Ties in it. Yeah. Before he was Burt Gummer, he was in Family Ties.
I really need to watch Family Ties. Like that is just on my list, staring at me. Just like I need to. I got to know that.
It's
That's
it's really vintage Michael J. Fox. Like it's a trip. It's a different time, basically. I mean, a really different time for family TV. So
the 80s, baby. Well, and then
yes.
Pake, what was it like seeing Tremors in theaters for you? Little baby.
Well, the theater that I watched Tremors in was my living room as a kid, where my dad made me watch it pretty early. I was probably 7, 8, something. I don't know. When he was like, "This is one of my favorite movies," and we were gonna watch it, and we bonded over it, and like I was immediately hooked. It was one of those, like, my dad had great taste, and like we didn't have a lot of movies, but the like little bit of VHS like collection that we had, I wore that shit out. It was constant. It was, we had like the Disney movies and stuff that I would watch. We had, Lion King and things. But like what I really gravitated to was the original Star Wars trilogy and Tremors that my dad had, and I watched those like movies constantly.
Question was, what was it actually like seeing it in theaters? Although that was a great answer to it. That was, I needed your.
But then actually, yeah, because I didn't. Yeah, when it originally launched, yeah, I was born a few years after it came out in theaters. But yeah, no, seeing it in theaters for the first time in Santa Fe was really cool. I remember making a post on Facebook or something because I've loved the movie like my whole life and been a big fan of it, and so to see it on the big screen for the first time was a really cool experience, and to have the people in the theater laughing and quoting things and kind of just reacting to things. And I have a picture that I took in the theater, kind of snuck a little picture, where like the movie's playing on the screen, and then you just see Michael Gross like 2 rows in front of me or whatever, and I'm like, how fucking insane is it that I'm finally watching like one of my favorite movies in theaters, and Bert himself is sitting right there in front of me? Like that, this is cool.
Caitlin always tells the story. She's like, he held the door for me when I went into the theater. Like he held it. Like, I know.
Yeah.
There, it was awesome.
And then like having like Ron Underwood and Steve Wilson, and like having the producer and the writer and the director all sitting like down like the aisle from, and it's like the people, like a lot of the people who made this movie exist are sitting right here in this theater. I can look over at them and see their reactions to everybody else reacting to it in real time, and that was a really cool experience.
I actually got caught up watching them reacting.
Yeah.
Like, what do you like? What do you guys think? Oh, you're laughing too. This is really weird.
And then all the others like 2 through 7, and also being there with writers and directors of those movies, and none of those got theatrical releases, so they're getting to see people's reactions in public for the first time for those movies, and that was really cool.
I don't know if you've got the Tremors 2 Arrow set yet or whatever,
No.
but Steve does a commentary on it, and he talks about Tremors Fest, and he talks about it
Nice.
where and he was like, "Oh, I actually got to watch it in a theater for the first time, and it's so fun listening to people like quoting the movie, and then when there's explosions, everybody's cheering, and it's like we were the ones cheering."
Yeah. Again, there were things I knew, like I took a video in the theater because I knew it was going to happen, so I started recording. But I have a video clip of everyone in the theater going, critical need to know information, and it was so cool.
To the wrong guy. It's like everybody in the theater at the same time. It was just in that moment. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Daphne, how would a skater deal with a graboid, a shrieker, and an ass blaster? Separate occasions for each one.
Well, it's pretty incredible because they come with their own weapons on their feet.
Yes.
It'd be very easy to take care of that.
It's in a skater's natural environment, so there is ice and snow, so they have the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, they would just really, a triple axle would take care of a graboid. Ass blasters would take a little bit more. It would have to be more of like a backflip, I think, because they'd have to like launch into the air. So maybe it'd be like a pair's throw where they get thrown through the air and then slice. I think that could work. Or
Teamwork.
yeah, I mean, really. And yeah, I mean, I think that they have weapons on their feet, so why not? It'd be the easiest way to take care of it.
Oh yeah. That's the next character in the real Tremors and Snow movie is Burt Gummer teams up with a figure skating team. It's like cool Tremors, it's a whole thing. It's awesome. I should have thought of a better figure skating movie. I don't know why I picked Cool Runnings. That was not the right.
That was a bobsled movie.
There's skates on a bobsled. Oh, so I had something there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
Fuck, Mary, Val, Earl, and Bert. This is both of you.
Oh my God. That I wasn't prepared for such difficult, serious questions. Oh my God, I don't know. I couldn't.
I'm gonna go gut feeling.
Oh.
I mean, you can't say kill for Bert because even if that's what you wanted to choose, he can't be killed, regardless of what happens in the 7th movie. No, he can't.
No, he can't be killed.
So that's not even an option anyway. So kill is one of those things like nobody should have that as the answer, but if it's got to be in there, it's like unfortunately that falls to Earl just because he's kind of it's like that's just what it is. Because the other answers are you marry Bert because he's taken care of you, and well, unless you will come second to that gun, but you will be protected, well protected, and then you fuck Val because I mean Kevin Bacon is just a gorgeous man, and look at those jeans.
It's like David Bowie's cop piece in Labyrinth. You're
right,
just like
right. You look at that lineup and you're like, well, obviously it's Val.
Daphne?
Okay, so I'm gonna blow that out of the water. Maybe kind of. I feel like you have to marry Earl, fuck Val, and kill Bert because I can take care of myself.
Oh! Plot twist! Yeah. Okay. See, I would marry Bert, and then Fred Ward is just so hot, man. I don't have to be like that long second movie. It's like I get it. I understand what a daddy is, and that's that. But
oh, nothing against Bert, but you gotta be self-sufficient. I mean, you gotta be able to take care of yourself.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't say I'd kill his guns. I mean, I'd have his guns so I could use those, but that's how it has to be. I hope you'll both still speak to me after that.
Hey, you're so I don't care. That's fine. I have nothing against you.
I'll throw my answer in with that as you can choose kill, but it won't actually happen. So, maybe that's a good way to go for it because then he'll be fine anyway.
Really funny listening to all your episodes and Daphne repeatedly saying like Burt Gummer can't be killed by a graboid. He would never be swallowed and killed by a graboid. And Burt Gummer like eaten by a graboid, that's ridiculous. And I was just like, oh, sweet, sweet summer child. Oh dear God.
I didn't know as I as far as watching the movies, I didn't watch them ahead except for the 7th one, which I watched because we were going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
All of the others I watched by season. So when we talked about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
You didn't know.
I had no idea what was happening in future movies.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I had no idea.
Yeah,
Really
I
did.
just made you watch 7 in advance for our Tremors Fest recap episode when Levi was on, because I knew we were going to be talking about things that were discussed about the ending of that movie at the fest. That was like, we don't want to have that sprung on you as a surprise. So go ahead and watch it. So
I
you know what we're
wasn't,
talking about.
I will admit,
Yeah.
I was not happy. No, I was not happy with that ending. Not at all.
I love
I
you,
was
Doc,
irritated.
but that was not one of them. I'm moving on. Text him all the time to tell me to give him that alternate ending. It's fine. I'm okay. I do. I'm always like, anytime, man. I'll just sneak that shit out there. Uh, wow. Okay. So on that note, so I don't know if you've seen it, but in the original Tremors, the first movie, um, there's an original ending. There's the ending where they're driving off and they Earl's making fun of Val for like, that's a good woman, and then they need the lighter, and then they have another ending which is the kisser ending. What do you think is the better ending to Tremors? If you've seen it, if it appears Pake has seen it by head nods. I'm not sure if
I
Daphne.
mean, I haven't actually. I don't think I've seen the footage of the original ending. It might be on like a DVD that I haven't. I just haven't. I don't know, but it's interesting because typically, and if you've listened to a lot of our episodes with certain things, you'll hear us even discuss like when a movie ends without a kiss, like when there's not some kind of like, and then the two leads fall in love. We're like, oh, thank God, because it's not needed every time. Like there doesn't
It
have to be
isn't.
a romantic connection to make these people happy at the end of a movie.
No.
Sometimes, like that's a crutch to lean on.
Yeah.
But in the case of Tremors, I'm cool with it, because then you can have it in your head canon. It's like, that's why Val doesn't show back up, is he's happy. He's got a life. He's got a woman. I mean, we do find out later on in other movies that like they had a kid, and then I don't know if Val and Rhonda really, kind of maybe did their own thing. But at least for a while, it's like, well, that's why he's not around, because he at least had quite a few years of happiness away from everything. So it's like, that's good.
Graboid free
Yeah.
happiness. For
I,
sure.
no, I just had to, like, we're talking about ending there. That's one of my questions because it's just one of the. I agree that ending on the kiss thing of like they got together is just like, okay, really, that's it. Honestly, one of the episodes you did, Love and Monsters, Caitlin and I just watched that recently, and I love how that movie works towards that. He's doing this grand romantic gesture, and then it's just like, bro, I last saw you 7 years ago. What the fuck are you doing? And then it ends up being family. We both
Yeah.
cried. It's like, oh my god,
It's a great movie.
Unity.
I still
Yeah.
haven't watched that one again since we covered
Me
it. That was
either.
first season, so I need to go back and visit that one again.
Yeah, I
Been a while.
loved that movie. That was one of the first newer ones that we covered, and it came out during the pandemic, which streaming was your release. You didn't go to the theater, you got it on Netflix. So I remember we were both really excited to get to talk about it because it was newer. And at that time, we really didn't know what new movies were coming out and when or how we were going to get to see anything. But we knew we had a long list of older movies we could cover. But that one in particular always comes up if I'm thinking about favorite episodes or favorite conversations, it's always comes up because it's such a sweet movie.
It really is. I like the family. That's where the kisser thing is always like when Ron talks about that. Everybody was chanting "kisser, kisser," and I was like, "This is one time you should have just listened to the writers, because I think they were." It's fine.
It doesn't have to be. I think you can have intimate friendships without it being romantic, and those can be just as special. And I think by not promoting, kisses or romantic things at the end, you're showing that you can have that closeness without it becoming, something more because being friends is still a really good thing.
It's
And
still
you
a
don't,
relationship.
it's a relationship, and it can be, amazing. You don't have to be in a romantic relationship to really care about somebody.
On this note, this is a great, goddamn, you guys are making me segue perfectly. Thank you so much.
We were trained well.
Do you buy into the Val and Earl shipping? Oh, yeah.
I've
Oh,
obviously
boy.
seen a lot of this stuff online. Um,
But before
Oh,
it's
I go
really
back,
funny,
an art
and
from the guy that does the Tremors porn comic. He sent me
oh
this.
yeah, yeah.
oh,
That's
oh
amazing.
boy. Oh,
Man, I was like, oh my god, I love that. Ben Sword, Pangea Starseed, and yeah,
Mhm.
it's Alan Earl in Tremors 2, if that had actually happened, and
with
Mhm.
their little umbrellas.
Oh,
Okay.
you have the Tremors Lounge sign from the the Violet Violet Crown as well. I love that.
left the Tremors Lounge, so I got that one, and then there's this one with people who sign stuff. I don't know what
Yeah.
that. And then I had another Tremors Lounge sign, and then actually my favorite piece of uh Tremors Fest memorabilia, everybody's
Mhm.
singing.
Yeah, the big one.
Yeah.
Aw.
I think mine's on there by Zoran's because yeah, and then it just says RFYL for Run for Your Lives on there too. Eh,
Does it really?
yeah,
Oh,
and
I
then
love
Zoran
that.
signed with Bixby.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you sign your name on any, like, I've never seen your handwriting. Oh my gosh. That's so cool.
But that's one of my all-time. I actually need to make a print of that because I don't want to bring the original down to Tremors Fest again.
Mhm.
Yeah, you need to get that in a frame.
Oh, that's my plan. I have that planned. But as you can
Yeah.
tell, a bunch of shit on my wall, so I don't know where to put it up here.
I don't know. I love the caution tape. That's my favorite part.
That has been up here for like at least 15 years. It feels like. I just found it in band one day. Like there was a cubby that had caution tape in it, and I was like, let's go put it on the walls because the ceiling was partially. It's not falling down for real, but it feels like it is. So that's yeah. There's dangerous. That's the metaphor, I guess. That's dangerous ideas. Like, do you buy into Val and Earl ship?
uh it's like a headcanon thing that's fun. I really love seeing stuff online because of how much it makes certain people angry, and that's always funny.
Yes.
Um,
Agreed.
but but yeah, no, but it is fun. Like, it's not part of the movies, it's not part of the canon. It's like, whatever. However, I've seen posts and I've seen things, and it's like, well, it's also not true. I mean, they live together in one trailer. Um, they're like sleeping in a truck bed together on that in the first movie, and it's just like, rolling out of there.
It's a lot. I see a lot of this. A lot. That's a lot.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
joking.
it's it's a lot of Brokeback Handyman. I don't know. It's fun. I think it is funny to see those kind of things. It's like, I mean, oh, they woke up together in the truck and he's making him breakfast. Who did breakfast last time? So cute.
But it's to go off of what the conversation beforehand. It's of relationships. I think it's fun too. Honestly, the thing that I think is the most fun is seeing it piss off those people. Like
Yeah.
it's not even like it's 100% like if it really bothers you that much, just
Right.
care. Like
Yeah.
that's
It really seems to wind people up. I just look at them as having a really good, close bromance, like connection. And I think it's incredible. I mean, again, going back to what we've said before, not every connection has to be romantic. It can still be a pretty intense connection and be friendship. It doesn't have to be romantic. And it seems like for some reason, people just want to go that way. Like they just want everyone to end up together and be happily ever after. Maybe we watched too many Disney movies as a kid. And that's what it's about, is Cinderella and all of the others, just let's all get together and be happy at the end and blah blah blah. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like, you don't have to, you can be happy with your friends. You don't have to follow the norm, I guess.
Like my original question to make fun of myself, when are you two getting married? The answer is never, because
Right.
you got you're the Val Earl of podcasting. That's the it's good. We got great ties and tangents and segues going here, and I think it's funny. Part of me that's like Pake, where it's like, okay, I can see that, but also like, I think the movie works better if they are just friends and
Yeah.
like
Yes.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not necessary. It's lazy writing to do that kind of thing than it is to.
It's
No, they just
it's gratuitous in some ways, and I just don't think that it has to happen. I Yeah. I'm good with the bromance. I think it's a good one.
okay. So okay, I gotta pick. I'm pretty good about organizing my thoughts here, but I'm like, oh, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about no. I want to talk about that. Uh, um, yeah, I'm gonna do it because I'm already here. Pake, I love you. Um, just as a friend. I don't need to see your underwear. I think Daphne, you should have listened to this show. I get real strange with this. Like this might as well be strange indeed.
This is so fun. I'm having such a fun time.
Thank you. Like I said, cameras and talking. There's 50-50 here. Um, but Pake, one of the things I find absolutely fascinating about you, um, and I have a question.
Mhm.
How has your relationship with Riley informed your positivity?
Oh, good question.
It's special and amazing, and I've never heard you talk about it. And I want you to open your heart, and like how, because I know that works. Like how has that made you such a kind, caring, positive person? Like that's like
um,
I come back to that.
I appreciate, those that like assessment of me, because it's always, again, you're always your harshest critic. And so like, for me, it's like, I'm myself, so I'm with myself 24/7 all the time. So I see the negative parts of me. I see the darker parts of me. I see all the other stuff that's like, I'm not positive and kind all the time. Absolutely not. But
I have a
I
toenail.
definitely
You can get into it, so it's not. It's fine.
but
We all have weird things. Go ahead.
yeah, but no, but I try to definitely put that out into the world the best I can. And so yeah, you asked about Riley. So for those who don't know, which is probably everybody, if you're listening, if you're just like you don't know who I am. Yeah, so my actual like day job, what I do aside from podcasting, is I'm a respite caretaker for a young man. I always say kid, but like honestly, he's 25 now. But I've been with him for over 10 years. So he was 15 when I started working with him, 14, 15. So yeah, he was a kid then. But yeah, so I'm a respite caretaker for a young man now with cerebral palsy, high spasticity, low functioning as far as, I mean, he's still very there mentally, but like nonverbal, completely dependent. He's in a wheelchair, needs to be fed, cleaned, everything on his own. Like I have to do all of that for him or whoever's working with him. And it is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life, because when I first started, before I got that job, I mean, I was working, like retail stuff and try to and failing to be in a band. I still love music and I still miss playing shows and writing music and doing stuff. But I was like the starving artist who had to work at Walmart to try to make ends meet and just hated my life, and then finding that and having that job where it was like, I don't have the patience for that. I don't know how to take care of a human being. I can't be patient with something like that. And then, yeah, just again, I've been there for over 10 years now with him. And where we go out to eat, we go out in public, and still to this day, people are always like, oh, is that are you his brother? And like, my answer is yes and no. I'm like, basically, it's like, I'll explain. I'm like, no, it's like, I'm on the clock right now. I'm working. This is my job, but I've been with him for so long. I can read his mind. And like, we have this like spiritual connection. And so like, yeah, for all intents and purposes, he is my little brother, and I love him so much. And I think that I've definitely the kindness and positivity. He's done a lot more for me than I think I've done for him in a lot of aspects, because seeing somebody, it sounds cliche almost, like, oh, somebody with special needs and disabilities that, oh, you see, oh, life is handed them all this and they're still so positive and joyful and can live, and that's true. But you also don't want to just like boil him down to that, because he's his own person. He's so much more than just a disability, that he's like, oh, look how happy he is despite how his life sucks. No, because that's what his life has been, and he has taken advantage of that and made it so much, so positive, and gives so much to other people through just who he is. So he's not the disability, he's who he is. And because of just the life that he has and the person that he is, it's taught me to look at things from different perspectives, and to understand that like people go through all kinds of different things, but at the end of the day, we're all human and we all deserve love. Even when people really piss me off, I try to like zone myself in and be like, maybe they do suck as a person, but like there's good in there somewhere. You can find good, like, yeah. So it's hopefully, I feel like, he's done a great job at bringing a lot of positivity into my life. And I still struggle with it, because God, you want to get into like social justice and like politics and things, like, God, you can get me fired up and I can hate some people, but like the end of the day, I try to be positive, because I mean, we're all humans living on this world. Like, what do we have if not each other and kindness? Like, just try your best, even if sometimes you want to strangle people because they're not kind to others. But do what you can.
Tell us more about Alexei Navalny. Yeah, it's not, it's not, I take that quarterback. Um, but no, that's honestly, Pake. That was I don't know if I was looking for an answer, but I've never heard you talk about it, and I wanted to bring that out in you, because that was where I was making fun of myself earlier, of just like, oh, I want this podcast to be more angry and critical, and they're not. And I'm like, instead of making your podcast what I wanted, it's taught me to take that step back and be like, you know what, hey, I do have some issues here. However, let's focus on the good, to the point where I still really want to re-record my Tremors 5, 6, and 7 episodes, just to be like, look, Don, I have some issues, but also did things right. I'm gonna give you that, and I'm sorry. I hate Universal, not you. Actually, I'm gonna eat an olive to that. That's one of my drinking games. When I say I hate Universal, I eat an olive. So,
Oh, okay.
oh yeah, that's what this jar of olives is. It's if I say I love Stampede or I hate Universal, olive. If I talk about Kevin Bacon's pilot, olive. If I do an impression, olive. Don't drink anymore. So this is my
How
drinking.
how do you have any olives left?
That's why it's such a big jar.
Okay. Okay.
That's what, yeah. There's random like little tangent that I don't want to go too long on, but yeah, but with Don, in Santa Fe, that was what was really fun, is like him meeting people, and like people like Zorian or you or me or different people, where the first thing would be like, yeah, I have a podcast we cover, and immediately he'd be like, are you one of the ones that talk shit about me online all the time? Like, he's joking, but it's just like one of those, got it. And I'm like, no,
Yeah,
we're cool.
no. No.
For all your pain, I'm sorry. But that's the positivity. And I do have some, excuse me, I have some umbrage to take with people in the Tremors world, but Don Michael Paul is not one of them, and and I can't, like, that's where your positivity, and this goes to you too, Daphne, and I wonder how, like, what circumstances in your life, or if it's just Pake rubbing off on you, that you have that positivity too. Because then I have a question on this: would you consider your podcast a critical podcast or a fun podcast?
Well, did you listen to our episode on The Happening?
No.
I mean, this whole time that you guys have been talking and listening to your comments, I've been holding on to that for probably the last 30 minutes.
If you really need your like, why don't you just have some goddamn cynicism, Pake? If you want that, listen to the
listen to the
'cause
happening.
That's my opportunity to just tear a movie apart. That's a great
Yep.
episode to have fun with.
Yes, the happening. Yeah. Okay, so
or make Daphne want to cry whenever we did 30 Days of Night. There's also that one to check out.
Yeah.
That was hard. That was probably the only time that I've really been like, oh,
Really? You
maybe
don't like
I should never have shared that movie with her.
Whenever that one comes up, she always makes it seem like I really ripped it to shreds and I hated it so much, but it's really not the case. I really picked apart a few different things that really bothered me, but overall, it's like the movie's fine. It's just I'm having fun really harping on this one thing.
He is, and sometimes I think it's because my reaction, because sometimes I just go a little over the top with how I react to things, and people like to wind me up and then watch me take off.
I can tell he does that to you on a couple Tremors episodes, and you're just like, I know what Pake's gonna say, and I'm gonna say anyway, because fuck you, Pake.
Well, you know what? Zoran told me that if Pake ever got out of hand to that point, that I could phone a friend, and so I've been holding on to that.
Yeah, that was an interesting bit of hubris for me, was having Zoran on, because he was a guest that wasn't taking any, well, not even taking shit. I usually don't give anything to guests, but like he immediately propped himself up in Daphne's corner and he was going to put me in my place. It was like, oh, I've never done that.
Yes.
Nobody's done this to me before.
No, they haven't. Usually it's, oh, Pake is so much fun. And he's so silly.
Zoran's over here like, that's a bad pun. Stop it.
Yes. I got to respite that episode, because he was on my side and I didn't expect it. And so it was a welcome thing. And he said to me, he's like, if he gets out of hand, you just let me know. And I'm just like, I'm holding on to it. I'm gonna hold on to it. I'll pull the Zoran card if I have to. He hasn't gone that far, so I haven't, been able to do it yet, but I will if I have to. We'll pull it out. Yeah. So to go back to your question, I think our podcast is 80% fun, 20% critical. I think we try to find the good in every movie and talk about the good things, but we're not afraid either to talk about shitty effects or bad ideas. And The Happening, despite us kind of shredding that movie, was one of the most fun episodes we've ever done, because we just completely we talked about the things that were interesting and then we just shredded everything else.
What? No.
What? Yeah. No.
It was great. Yeah.
That was one of the most, that scene, if with The Happening, that was one of the ones I really had fun with Mark Wahlberg. Like, what was he? Because he's not a bad actor.
No.
So, like, what was he doing? Like, that went beyond phoning it in. That was like, what's the weirdest fucking way I can deliver this line? Got it. That's what I'm gonna do.
I think it was Mark Wahlberg portraying a bad actor, playing a part. And we had so much fun. Yeah, that episode was just, and it's a popular episode. Like, people really have listened to it. They really like that episode for some reason.
Do it, and I'm gonna comment on your YouTube episode when I do, and just be like, okay, this was hilarious. I get this now.
It's so much fun. There's just different things in it that you just shake your head. It's like, oh, okay.
So, what's the difference between a success and a failure when it comes to a movie?
That is a good question.
Yeah, I mean, you can obviously box office or like Rotten Tomatoes scores or like critical acclaim, stuff like that. You can look at those things. But I think just for our own personal opinion or like the way that we would look at something, I don't know. I mean, a success for a movie, whether it like made a lot of money or like people really like it, is how does it emotionally affect me? And that can be a gamut of different things. Whether if it's just supposed to be a funny movie and I laughed a lot, then like it did its job. Or if it's supposed to be an action-packed, crazy movie, and I'm sitting there going, "These effects didn't suck." Like I was like, "Wow, that was really cool," and they told some kind of compelling story. That's a success. If it's a movie that's supposed to make you cry, and that's easy to do for me. I'm a softie. So like, although I think I've only cried on our podcast once,
It's been one
talking about
time.
one movie.
Yeah.
But like if it can really hit me in the feels and it can emotionally pull something out of me, I'm like, that's a success. It did its job.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pake got very deep though in our very first episode when he talked about Reba McEntire.
Yes.
Mhm.
He
Well,
did.
this is a question, and I want my guest audience, the podcast audience, to know. So, Pake, what's your Reba connection? Is there
Uh-huh.
something that has to do? And Reba, I don't know. Could it be? I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I know I've told you that story. It's on our Tremors episode. I think I've told you. Yeah, I know you're setting it up. But yeah, are we getting her at Tremors Fest? Because I will fucking lose my shit. It's literally like bucket list of life is I need to meet Reba McEntire at some point. And she just opened a like restaurant and venue in
It's in
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Reba,
And it's not too far. It's probably 4 or 5 hours for me. And like I need to take a trip. But you can't even guarantee that she's gonna be there. So it's like, but yeah, it's definitely a bucket list thing. And it's literally it would be an emotional thing. Like I'd have to like try not to cry meeting her just because it's like this connection. So what it is my name, my first name, because Pake is my legal birth name on my birth certificate. And people always ask, is that short for anything or is that a nickname? It's like, no, that's what it was. It's like, what drugs were your parents on? But honestly, what it is, because my mom was a huge Reba McEntire fan, like to the point that she knows this very like little known fact that Reba McEntire has a brother who, and his name's not Pake. It is like I wish I could pull it right out of the air. I haven't done. I should know this better. It's my namesake, but it's like Michael or Matthew or Robert or something like just generic. But his stage name, he did music as well, like his sister. He only put out like 1 or 2 albums, and he wasn't as successful. But his stage name and artist name, he went by Pake McEntire. And whether that was like a childhood nickname or something, I don't know. But and I own a Pake McEntire vinyl that is in my collection. I bought it and I found it. But yeah, so my mom was a big enough fan to know that Reba's brother released a little bit of music under the stage name of Pake McEntire, and she thought that was unique and thought that was interesting. And this was the connection to Reba. And so that was I'm the firstborn, I'm the oldest in my family, and so that her firstborn son, she's naming after Reba's brother. And so I've always had that connection. And then of course, knowing that and like listening to Reba McEntire as a kid and watching Tremors as a kid and having this connection to her. And honestly, if you saw a picture of my mom, they look similar to a degree. The very like the red hair, the fiery red hair, the curls, the like she just reminds me of my mom a lot. And I lost my mom when I was 12. She died of ovarian cancer. And so just growing up with Tremors and with Reba and listening, like it's always been just this kind of like she's like my mother in a different form. It's like, yeah, I lost my mom and stuff, but it's like, but Reba's still there, and I can watch her and get just like joy and like feel like she's still doing shit really cool, like,
she was at
and
Super Bowl, baby.
yeah, right. I said when I was watching the Super Bowl party I was at, I was just like, oh look, Heather Gummer's here. But yeah, so that's one of those like little bucket things that I've never met Reba, and I would love that opportunity. And it's like, cause she doesn't really do conventions, and she does, and then as far as, like, can we get her to come out to Tremors Fest, even just for the Friday night or whatever, the first movie, that's it. But so it's one of those things I'm like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I want to make it happen in some point in my life just to like, it's like this like little, like, thing, this fantasy in my head of just being able to talk to her, tell her that story real quick, and give her a hug, and try not to just fucking cry, and then be like, okay, fulfilled, done. Like just have that reaction.
Hi, Reba. My name is Pake. She would do the rest there. She's like,
Right.
oh, brother. Oh, my, is that, was that Reba? Sorry. Forgive it. That's an impression. Shit. That's amazing, Pake. And honestly, I have IMDb Pro, so I'm always trying to email those people, and
Del
she.
Stanley McIntyre was. I had to look it up. His first name is Dell, so it's still an interesting name. Del
Oh, wow.
Stanley McIntyre, and then I was like on just Wikipedia. I was trying to see where did the Pake thing come from, and it doesn't say because his Wikipedia entire page is literally like 3 paragraphs. There's not much on him, so yeah.
Well, now we got a new Pake to put on the Wikipedia, baby. Oh yeah. What is your favorite and least favorite Tremors movie? This is for both of you.
Okay. All right. Okay. My least favorite is
No judgment.
Oh, are you waiting for me to do mine so that you could
You
critique
can't. I mean,
me?
I can go. I don't have very concrete answers. Because honestly, as like it, being on like the Trimmers like Facebook pages and talking with people, like there's certain people that like I've even seen. Not to me, this person might be listening to this. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm not gonna tell you about my name, but people being like, if we just take the like Universal movies out of the canon, it's like no, there's still Tremors movies. Like it's what it is. You can't just ignore them and turn them away. It is part of the story. And honestly, for what they are, if you take them just standalone, like what they are, I don't hate those movies as much as a lot of people seem to. There's some interesting choices. There's some different things, but although I will say, I don't know, 7, it's okay. 6 is not the strongest for me. Cold Day in Hell, but honestly, maybe my least favorite, and a lot of it just has to do with the effects because I'm such a stickler for special effects, is 3. Yes. Those ass blasters, some of those scenes, it is hard to watch.
It's rough. It is rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of rough.
But so that's probably the favorite. I'm gonna go to either the original Tremors is the like it's not even a cop out answer because it really is. It starts the whole thing and it still holds up the best to everything. But honestly, aside from One Wild Adventure in Santa Fe, Tremors 4 is one of my favorites to watch over and over. It's just something new and different, but it's so much fun.
It's my favorite. Tremors 4 is my favorite. I don't go to bat. So. If you say you hate Tremors, Daphne, I'm out. This podcast.
So yeah, about that.
Yeah, I don't.
For me, I have to go to the first one. I feel like the first one is just the best. But my least favorite is probably the 4th one.
Oh, fine.
I just don't like unless it's Deadwood, I don't really like Old West or Tombstone. I don't really like Old West things. Like it's not my jam. Like it's not my world. I don't really care for it. But I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just
hate it. You can hate it. I want you.
No, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Do you want me to tell you a movie that I really hate?
Oh, I know where this is going. I know where this is going.
Yeah. It's called Midsummer.
Oh.
Yeah. I do not like Ari Aster. I don't like his point of view. Like I'm not into it. And Pake, is that where you thought I was going?
Yeah, absolutely. I knew that's where you're going.
Yeah. I don't like it. I saw the original. It was called The Wicker Man, and it was 100 times better.
Good joke.
No, it's not a joke. It's real. I have the Wicker Man in so many versions that, yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah, do not
Not,
like.
and see, I know her well enough. I can follow up. Not Nicolas Cage, the
No,
original.
not the bees.
That was my next question too.
Not the
no.
bees. No way. I had high hopes for that, and then I went to see it, and oh my god, no. What a mess. What a hot mess, and not in a good way.
And I will defend your least favoriteness here too, because I talking about the Facebook group, I always see that people just slam on Tremors 4, and it's usually because of that. I just don't like Western. Like if it's
Yeah,
that
I don't.
and it's not your taste,
Mm-mm.
it's gonna be something that you like. That's where I love Westerns. Honestly, I
Yeah.
didn't. I watched Tremors 4 as a kid, then I was like, this is cool. I like this kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not like a very cowboy country kind of person, but I do live here in Texas. My dad, before I was born, and even like a little after, he stopped pretty much because having a kid, but he was a professional bull rider. He traveled and did like rodeos and like was it the he never was in PBR, the professional bull rider that you see on TV and stuff, but like whatever, like the step before that was the PRCA stuff, the Pro Rodeo Commission. And like, so that was his whole life. And even now in his like 60s, he runs a like weekly, bi-weekly rodeo for like his cowboy church that he goes to. Like he is still very ingrained in it. And so like, so growing up with like a literal cowboy, like grew up on a farm, on a ranch doing stuff, and then became a bull rider and still works with that stuff. And like with country music with him and like all like Western movies, like he's still just like, well, his idea of a great evening is come home from work and just put on like the, you know, whatever cowboy channel and watch those old black and white Westerns. And he will sit there. It's ingrained in my DNA. So like, there's no running from it. And I just have to accept it and embrace it.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Cowboy church. I'm not going to ask, but I just have a
Yeah.
question. My own, but cowboy church.
Yeah, that I've never heard that terminology before.
There's a good bit of them around here. I mean, it's literally just, it's a church that also happens to like be like a rodeo like arena, and like it's just all like farmers and ranchers and cowboys that go there, and it's just that's where the country people belong.
Okay.
So,
Pake, have I ever asked you this? Do you have a cowboy hat?
I don't own one. I don't.
Okay. I was the curiosity.
Levi does.
yeah. Actually, while we're here, because this is a good one. Why is it that you think that Burt Gummer fans miss the satire? You hit with Cowboy, so this is we're just doing it. It's here. It's a
Yeah,
question.
man. I don't know. Like, I want to try to bring positivity and kindness to things that I say, so I don't want to just like disparage people.
Sometimes they don't bring positivity and kindness to the table, so it's
Very
okay.
true. Very true. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna call people stupid. But like there's like an ignorance and like definitely things where it's just like, I don't know, people certain mentalities, I don't know, we'll feel just like things are the way that they're portrayed or perceived, and like a lot of like satire and things just kind of like go over their head, or they're just like they ignore it. They're like, no, this character is that, and I you know, try not to do like a country accent because it's not great. But
I hear what you're going for. You're fine. You're
I
fine.
know, but no, literally, it's like, you know, that's what I'm given, and I'm gonna accept that because I, you know, identify with that, and so it's just face level, and that's what it is. When they don't realize, I mean, I don't want to speak for somebody, but I follow him on Facebook. Michael Gross, who plays Bert, is an extremely liberal individual with a lot of progressive views, which I love, and so it's interesting that he's like, I'm playing a character, and it is a caricature. It's definitely very much like a lot of ridiculousness is thrown into this. It is satire. That said, he's an incredible person. and it's not a character for you to laugh at. Like it's like, yeah, he's the conspiracy gun nut, and it is funny. But at the end of the day, that character works for what it is, and he is successful and fits in this world. And because of who he is, he's able to survive, and that is who he needs to be.
I trust Burt Gummer. I want Burt Gummer corner. He like, yeah, like it's a. Daphne, what's your perspective on that?
I have to agree with what Pake said. I think that he's like, his character is like dialed up to like 11. He really is. It's almost over the top. It's, to me, it's beyond a caricature. It's like he's just on a whole other planet with the way that his character is, and the way that he's able to pull it off when you know who he is and you can see who he is. It just shows how talented he is to be able to bring all of that to life when it is really the flip side of who he is in real life.
And what I think, like, I might step on some toes, but also the people whose toes get stepped on here, it doesn't really bother me if it hurts their feelings. But the thing that also makes it is because, yeah, he is this like caricature of like a very far, well, I wouldn't, you want to say right, but also he's very like libertarian and central in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of these like, I want my guns. I, don't trust the government. Self-sufficiency. People work for what they want, and then they do it themselves. And it is very like caricature-wise in those ways, and it works for that character in the setting he's in and where he's at. But they don't make the stereotypes offensive,
right?
Like it's not this like incestual, hateful. Like he's not a bigot. He's not out there like spreading all kinds of hatred towards people of different gender identities or races or religions or anything. Like he's not bigoted. He's just in his bubble of his personal beliefs as far as it comes to like government and self-sufficiency. But they don't make him the stereotypical like hateful of other people for living lives different than his.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's still a very sympathetic and great character.
He just wants everyone to leave him alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let him be on an island. Don't come bother him. He just wants to be left alone. And, maybe if more people were like that, things would be a lot calmer around here.
just, I'm chill, man. Like, that was the whole, like, we're in that Facebook group, and you see the people get mad about Val and Earl shipping, or honestly, it's furries. Whenever I see, because there's a lot of people who are like graboid fetishists, and I don't understand it. I don't.
Okay, I had not seen any of that, so that now I think my mind is completely blown.
It's there, Daphne. It's there, and but people, if you post that, Burt Gummer would like kill those people, and it's like Burt Gummer would just be like, I okay, and next. Like, I've seen weirder. Like, just move on.
Yeah, literally, Burt Gummer would be like, sure, you do that. I'm gonna go away now. All right.
Like, you do your thing over here, and I'm gonna go and do my thing.
Have fun with that weirdo. If that makes you happy, I'm happy for you. But I'm gonna go hang out with my guns in my goddamn rec room.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta ask the weird question. It's not a weird question. It's a very important question as fans of Tremors and going through here. Because I would agree with your assessment as you go through all your episodes that Burt Gummer, Michael Gross, it's hard to, that line gets muddied sometimes, is an important person of Tremors. Like
he's the thread. He's really the thread that connects each of the movies to each other. I mean, there are bits and pieces like that connect 1 to 2 because you also have Earl, but he's the constant line throughout the entire series. And at some point, it may seem at the beginning like it wasn't really, like that wasn't how it was going to go. But by the end, and you get to the 7th movie, it's very clear. He's the line that connects everything together in the universe.
Because Michael's the one that stuck around and kept doing things. And that's not like to disparage anybody who didn't, because they've got their own careers and lives and things that they were doing. But the fact that he really stuck with it is awesome, because we get that character trajectory and we see that, because
Yeah.
like I said, we do those like look backs and we kind of do awards and we break it up from like main characters, and then like we give awards for like side characters. And we were looking back at those early seasons when we did the first, especially the first two Tremors movies, and it's like Bart Gummer was the side character. He was definitely a supporting character. He was not in the main cast. He would show up to be kind of this comic relief and the ex machina, to come in and like Deus ex machina, here comes the conspiracy guy with the gun that's going to set everything straight. But then as they continued on, like he very much became the central character of the series.
Yeah. And it shifted. So when we were giving out awards at the end, he was more of the lead character versus the side character. And it really shifted. I think it was solid by the time we got to the fifth one. But I would say in the third one, it really became, he was really taking the lead and the reins then. Because he really didn't have anyone else to fall back on. It was him. He had to carry the movie. And I'm really grateful that Michael Gross came back for all of the movies, because I can't imagine a film in the Tremors franchise without him, because it just wouldn't feel as connected. They could say, oh, it's perfection, or say this is a graboid, and oh, this is a character that came in one time in the third movie and we haven't seen him since, and they're leading the movie. It's not going to be the same. Bert is the Tremors franchise, and without him, I don't know where it would go from here. Which is why I'm sorry. He's not dead. In my mind, he's still alive.
Oh yeah. You'll be at Tremors Fest this year. There was a lot from a lot of us when Dawn was there on that Sunday, of being like, Dawn, I respect you, but why? Why have you done this?
You did a lot right, but that was not like.
Yeah.
Explain yourself now,
Yeah.
Mr. Director Man.
Yeah. Do not. Yeah.
And this is where our podcasts are different in that respect, and I'm fine with that. Because it has been my self-appointed duty to be like, what the fuck are you doing, Universal? Because I don't blame Don Michael Paul for that kind of thing. I feel like when it comes to that, I get, I will, yeah, I do. I get personally upset because Michael talks about it where it's like he could see the writing on the wall that Universal was done with the franchise and they didn't want to do any more Tremors movies. And then it's like, but see, I don't buy that line, because last year they were already asking Bill Watterson to do the next Tremors movie and write the next Tremors movie and do that. So then it's like, but hold on. I thought you were done with this. I don't believe what's this bullshit line there going on? And I say that as like, if you've never seen Dave Made a Maze, oh my God, we're not gonna. Oh, it's amazing! It's amazing! It's fucking amazing! It's like a $500,000 movie about a guy that goes inside of a TARDIS labyrinth, and it's bigger on the inside. It's all practical effects, and it's amazing. It's about being a creator and an artist, and like what it takes to. And it would have been amazing. It's just Bill Watterson doing a Tremors movie. I would have like signed up for that on day one, but it's just like, but Michael Gross, like, why did you get, like, you can't, how did you get rid of him? How do you, this doesn't, I'm going on a tangent here. I'm going to finish the tangent because, like, the Kevin Bacon pilot happened, and then it became a tax write-off, just like Coyote versus Acme. And I'm just like, we're never ever going to get to see that. And I know that because I've talked to everybody, and we're never going to see it. God. And it's just like you're just screwing it up. Okay, I'm gonna focus.
Here's a little tidbit. If you want to fund the next Tremors movie, they need to release that pilot.
Oh,
people will buy it.
Can't. Oh. This is where I know this now. They can't. It's in the same vault as like Batgirl and Coyote versus Acme. where if they ever show it and they ever release it in any way, Universal can basically be set up for like tax fraud because they wrote it as a tax write-off. And so if we ever see it, there becomes this whole thing. I don't even think it's like a, oh, we'll just return the money sort of situation. It's an IRS situation. And now we will never, ever see the pilot. Like I've talked to Vincenzo Natali a lot about it, and he is just like, it's really bad to say, but he's almost like depressingly suicidal about it. Not even like that's a bad way to put it. Andrew Miller is like, he's just like, stop, I can't do any more Tremor stuff because this hurt me so bad. And we'll never see. And what you just said is so smart from a business perspective. Man, if you were to put that Tremors pilot on a freaking on this ultimate, if it was like a bonus feature, holy hotcakes, this thing would be.
Yeah.
You couldn't give it away fast enough. Like everybody would be buying it. We all know that. We've all seen enough proof of it everywhere that would just go out into the magical universe.
Well, the fact that there is a second Tremors Fest at Violet Crown in Santa Fe this year, that there was a big enough pull for the people who came the first time and then people who didn't and wanted to become part of it now that they saw that it was successful. There is a fan base. There is a cult following still alive 30 plus years later that we're all going, that we still have so much love and there's so much life left in this franchise. There is an audience here. We are ready for anything you want to do. Like,
so this is insane. Okay. So this Tremors 2 Arrow 4K is sold out. And this was sold out within a month. Like released November 27th. By Christmas, this was sold out.
Yeah.
You couldn't get this anywhere. That like this is it's a $50 box set. And it's great. It's fantastic. I love it. But it's like, oh my God, to like sell out of this immediately is like, holy, that's again, this is a direct-to-video sequel that never saw theater, and it's like, nope, we all want it, and it like just absolutely sold out. And Steve said something really, really interesting on this commentary of you can't, like when they were doing Tremors Fest, George, like the whole, I still don't understand the George R. R. Martin connection. But basically, like the theater owner was told that you cannot sell tickets to Tremors 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 because of the way that copyright was set up as their direct-to-video sequels. If you show them on a theater screen, it goes into another convoluted section of just like, it's way too much hassle, basically, to figure out how to get the rights to who's going to get paid for doing that. So they told the theater owner, like, you can sell tickets for day one. And that's why Tremors 1 is only on one day. Technically, our Tremors Fest tickets were for that. And then the rest we're not paying for. And the theater owner went like, you know what, that's fine. I will make enough money on beer and food that I don't need to sell tickets to that. So he ate loss. And exactly that, like, oh my God. So then we all showed up. And we did. We all bought beer and food. And we didn't actually.
Because you have a guaranteed audience who are there for 3 movies a day. It's like, yeah, they're not paying for those tickets, but they're there for 3 movies a day. They're at the theater all day long.
They have to eat.
And you've got and you have great beer and you have great pizza and you have great. So like, it's more, yeah, I'm more than happy to sit there and order food and drinks from this theater because it's good. So it's like, yeah, it worked.
There's people there that want Tremors. Like you can't get rid of it fast. Like, and watching the Facebook groups grow and everything that I do behind the scenes with Tremors and watching it grow, you're just like, there is clearly, it's not to even go back to what we were talking about at the beginning with Pake being like, oh, I like Tremors. It's a kind of a thing. This is my little Tremors day. Like, it's not like Tremors. It may not have made as much money as Jurassic Park did originally, but it has the same amount of fan base. And it's actually, this is something I've discovered. That's why Tremors did so well on video instead of theaters, is that everybody looks at it as like, oh, I don't want to tell my friends that I watched the Worm movie. But you know what? I'll take it home and I'll watch it. and I'll watch it over and over and over again because it's my favorite movie. But I don't want like the other people to know that I like this weird worm movie, and that's why it does so well on video. Is because you don't have to go to the theater to see it, um, because we all feel like we're a little weird, and that's you know you we're all with ourselves all the time, and we don't think that we're positive and good people, but we're like, yeah, but I can watch Kevin Bacon in those jeans for just a little while, and I with those guns, and yeah, and I'm Grady and Earl, and I have no idea what this tangent is about. I have lost myself.
Well, I think the bottom line is this: never underestimate the power of a cult classic.
Right. It's a community of people that just continue going. Because I mean, you mentioned Jurassic Park. It's like I'm sure there's something out there. I'm sure there's communities, but like I don't know if people who are holding big festivals and watching screenings of Jurassic Park movies all the time and getting together and talking about their favorite series, as great as those are, but it's those like cult classic kind of things that are a little weird, a little different, that the people who are super into them might be a little off in some ways, but we're awesome anyway if you get to know us. Because I mean, think about even what, because I can say, I'm sure you can even guess the movie. I don't even have to tell you the movie. Every single year in almost every medium to large city across the entire, at least, United States, around October, private theaters, independent theaters are going to have screenings and showings, shadow casts of
Rocky Horror Picture
There
Show.
you go. And it's, again, you ask a lot of just like regular Joes, oh, Rocky Horror Picture Show. A lot of people be like, Rocky who, what, where? But all over the place, there are people flocking to it. Like, my local independent theater here in the town that I live in does theirs every year, like the week or two before Halloween, and they sell out in minutes every year. It's phenomenal because it's just those cult classics that bring people together.
Yeah, it's something that you put on your calendar. It's like a must do every year.
To the point where all three of us went like, "Oh, there's another Tremors Fest. Let's go. Let's do this." It was interesting that your lead up when you were talking about in your episodes doing the Tremors Fest, and like I think it was about Tremors 5 that it like first appeared, and Daphne was kind of like, "Oh yeah, Pake's gonna go to the Tremors Fest, and I think that's cute." And then
I did.
Daphne, "Oh, Pake's going to the Tremors Fest, and I don't get to go, and I'm fine with it." And then we did our episode, and then the seventh movie, and then you're just like, "And I am going to the
No
next
way.
Tremors. I don't
Yeah.
care doing this. Like,
It had to work out though. Like it really had to work out, as in that was the only weekend in July that I could feasibly do it. And when the dates came out, it was like,
it's fate.
that's the only way I could do it, because I am photographing figure skating a couple of times that month. July is really one of my busiest months. So when it came out, and it's my birthday.
Yeah. I wish I could say I had anything to do with that, but I did not.
And I hope that this one is great as well, and it continues to grow. I already have somebody who's like, if there's a third one, I want to meet up with you and do that. I've got a friend of mine who's a musician who, like, because I was like, he plays New Mexico, he plays the Southwest and South, a lot. And so I like asked him, I was like, I see that your tour dates don't have anything for July. I'm gonna be at Tremors Fest again, because he was asking me about it, and he was like, I take July off to spend time with my kids when they're out of school. And but he just introduced his 9-year-old son to Tremors, and like they watched it together, and his kid is in love with it. And so he was like, if they do it again next year, you let me know, and I will go out of my way, like take me and my son, and we will like go out there and do that. And he's like, do they need a musical accompaniment? Do they need a band? I'll write some Tremor songs. Like, he's like, let's have some fun. But like,
No, Caitlin and I keep debating, like, because we got our 5 nephews, and I'm like, man, I would love to take the 3 oldest boys on a cross country trip, but then you're like, well, then I got to do that. I got to like, but I could. Oh, maybe I don't know. Like, you just because it's a family that you want to like incorporate them and stuff. And honestly, that's where what I can do personally is, man, I just email the fuck out of everybody. And that you just go to IMDb Pro and you're just like, You want to come? You want to come? You want to come? You want to come? I'm actually really sad because Charlotte Stewart's she really wanted to come last year and couldn't because of a date. And then I messaged her this year. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm at the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum that weekend. Like, we've got to work this out." So that
Mhm.
I was like, "Yes, I do." And what's hilarious is the Laura Ingalls Wilder Museum is like an hour away from me. So I'm like going away from her at that like we're going distance. Um,
Tell Jamie
and it,
Kennedy he can't be doing stand-up shows in Vegas that weekend again. He's got to.
oh, I know, right? Come on, Jamie. Come on.
Yeah, he needs to be there. He really does.
Yes. Honestly, the ones I reached out to the most were the Tremors 5, 6, and 7 cast. Like
Mhm.
that was yeah. I really like. We all focus on those original four, and I love it. But it's like, no, no, no. You all matter here. I want
You're part of it. Come here.
people than just Don up there just talking about Tremors in his Q&A. I want to hear everybody's opinions.
Mhm.
Get in here. You're all important. All right, so I'm gonna we're this thing. We're wrapping. Uh, so I have a few more. I have more, but it's like no, we've done great here. Um, wow, I got to remember where the fuck I was right there. So honestly, on that note, so like, what do you two and take a critical stance to this? Think about what happened with Stampede Entertainment and Universal, like that 4 to 5 thing and the pushing out and like what are your opinions on the split? That's how I wrote it on the
Yeah,
stand
well, I'll start
splits.
by being like honest. I am not as versed and educated on all of it as you are. Although I've seen you hold up this like the book a couple of times that I know that like explains all that. I own that book. I've ordered it. Like it's on my shelf. I just haven't read it yet. Sorry. But I own it and I do want to go through it. But yeah, so I'm not as well versed in stuff other than just like the little bit that like I spoke to Ron and Don over that weekend and like even things that like Michael Gross kind of had to say about it. But even them, they don't speak a lot about it and there. But yeah, so I guess just my opinions. Like I'm glad that the movies continued in some capacity because my little nerdy graboid loving heart was like, at least I have something. And even if they're I mean, again, love you, Don. Even if they're not great movies, they're real cheesy and they've got some like, I still love them because it was like my guilty pleasure. Like, it's just like, it doesn't matter how like campy and ridiculous they get. Every time a new Universal movie would come out, I would pre-order the Blu-ray the second that they came out and they'd come with like special things. And I have like a little postcard signed by Michael Gross for My Cold Day in Hell. You know, yeah, like it's just like I'm gonna keep buying into it no matter what because I love it. And so I was glad to still have things. Do I wish that like Brent and Steve could have continued their vision and really put in a lot of things and see where they could continue going with that and then could have the opportunity still to do that? Absolutely, because it is those first Tremors movies that set the stage and made me fall in love with it.
I think there's something to be said for having the original creators involved with the project the whole way through, all the way through the series. And so it's disappointing to me that the split happened and they could not continue with their original vision, especially because there are other series that Pake and I have covered that have been lucky enough to at least have one connecting thread throughout the entire thing. So you can see that attention to there are little Easter eggs and there's attention there to keep a theme, but also the feel of each of the movies so you know what you're watching. And I think there was a big change between 4 and 5, especially. And then continuing with 6 and 7, it's just it's a different vibe. There's a different vibe there. It's not the same feel. You still got graboids, you still got Burt Gummer running around, And that keeps it interesting. It just would have been that much better if they'd been able to just either work together or find a way to bridge a gap and the original people to be able to continue to be involved in some way.
And I don't know, again, you would probably know more. You speak with like Steve and stuff. As far as their own personal feelings on things, but like, you know, maybe it's just something they don't want to do for XY reason, and I'm not gonna like push things. But like, it kind of like not really bothered me, but I was like, you know, I wish, like, again, with Santa Fe, is we had Friday and Saturday with Steve, and then he took off, and Don came in on Sunday, and there was no crossover, and it's like, I want to get these guys in the same room and let them just talk it out and like commiserate on everything together a little bit, and like share that like they all love the same thing and they do the best they can with what they've got, you know. um and so I don't know if it was like a personal reason that there was no overlap with them, or if it was just traveling and scheduling. I don't know, but maybe it would be nice to get them in a room and like even a panel together and be like, let's hug it out, bros, you know.
I don't know if that's gonna happen, but
uh
maybe Levi knows something that we don't.
Ethan and I talk about it a lot, where that Santa Fe thing was the mom and dad. Like, if you've ever been a child of divorce,
mm-hmm.
Friday and Saturday we were there with mom, and then mom left, and then we were there with dad the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
weekend. It's like, I don't know what to do. I was just talking to mom, and what do I say to dad? And I actually did like email Steve, and I was like, Don would really like to like open a channel of communication, because I got his phone number and I was sending it to him, and Steve was like, I can't. I just can't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just to the way that it got ripped out of their hands. He's like, I've actually, he even said, he's like, uh, Don seems like a great guy. Michael's told me he's a great guy. I have no personal ill will against him. It's just 100%. That was such a painful chapter of
Mm-hmm.
their. And you got to think, for us, you're watching the movies, and we just go from watching Tremors 4 to watching Tremors 5. For them, it was like a 10-year long process
Yeah.
of back and forth and script writings and Universal. And then Steve even says he was driving to Chicago when they were like, oh yeah, by the way, we're done with you. And you're like, oh my, I was just going home to see my parents. And you're just like dealing with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just too painful of a thing. But, but, and this is me because I see everything. I think if Michael's there, I think Michael being that connecting thread, and
Mm-hmm.
just like us, he's the children of the divorce. He's even called it. That's where I come up with that. He said that. He's like, I feel like the child of divorce in all of this. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if he's there, for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it allows that space to happen of
Yeah.
just like, hey, Michael said they're cool. Like, why don't we all
Mm-hmm.
act together? It's just
Yeah.
like time, like
So that's
kind
what
of.
it's like. It's my personal wishful thinking, but also I don't want anybody to like put themselves in a position where they're not comfortable. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah, but my own selfish personal wishful thinking. It's like, why can't we be friends? You know, that's just.
I've always said since my first episode that I've never dissed on Don Michael Paul as like a director, and watching those movies in the theater and seeing his vision blown up, you're like, wow, this guy has like the eye for this. Like, he knows what he's doing. I'm like, I would love a Stampede Entertainment produced and written Don Michael Paul directed movie. Like, to combine those two things like that. I've always felt that the writing on Don Michael Paul is his one, like, let's just, you need better writers, is all that is. Um, and yeah, I wish it's wishful thinking, but I really do. I think if anything were to happen, there's nothing that any of us as fans can do, that I know because I've tried. Uh, but it's Michael Gross, and that's where you said we were talking about Tremors Fest 2 happening. I can't even say it was the fans doing it, because I was almost sure it wasn't going to happen from everything that I was talking to people. And then
Mhm.
Michael just went like, I missed it last year. I want to do it again.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't get to do the whole thing. I had to go film something else and left. Yeah.
And I love that he's as big of a fan as all of this as we are, and that's
Mhm.
what's I find really endearing and interesting and brings me back. And I always talk about Michael Gross when it comes to that. And Pake was there for it, where he talked to everybody way more than he needed to the point where Elsa is just like, Michael, we need to like go. Yeah. I will. I ended up talking to this one more person over here, and he just keeps
Yep.
wanting to give his all to everybody. And I just
Yeah, he's incredible. To where like it's just one of those little fangirl moments. I know I was very much like the fact that he was staying late and his wife was like, we gotta go. You've got to fly out in the morning and we've got and like he's like, all right, I gotta wrap it up. And as he's walking out, he like comes to me and he just like gives me a hug and he's like, thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Good to meet you. And I'm like, ha, ha. Kurt Gummer just hugged me. And we're friends. We're best friends now. Yeah, it was great. Like
it was such a big deal for
Yeah.
Pake to go. We kind of joked about it being like a sabbatical or a pilgrimage for him to go to Tremors Fest because he's been such a big fan of that franchise for his whole life. And so for him to go and get to meet Michael Gross, I was excited for him because it's just such a big deal.
It'd be like you seeing Laura Dern or Sam Neill or Jeff Goldblum. You'd be honestly, I do the same.
I'd do the same with them too. Yeah. Yeah. And then also with Ron Underwood, because I haven't mentioned again, those like because there's like the Disney like films and stuff also. You want to know another VHS that I wore the shit out of was Mighty Joe Young, also directed by Ron Underwood. So that was cool to talk to him about that too.
Oh, that was a goodie.
Yeah.
All right, so I got two more questions, and then we'll call it good. One, I just had to ask because I kept hearing it today, and you can go as far as you want with this or not. I won't be offended if you don't. Daphne, what did you think of my squash soup?
You did a very good job, Levi, with your squash soup.
Yes.
In your movie. Yes, you did a very good job. Yeah, I remember that's one of the things that stands out to the episode. One of our episodes where I think it was the original Tremors where I talked about it being squash soup and then Pake said he wasn't quite going to look at Panera the same way after that. You did such a great job with your squash soup. You really did.
Sticking to the original way, the classic. If I will give one piece of constructive criticism, some feedback, when you continue on this series, more goo, less pumpkin shell pieces. More
yes,
guts,
I have to agree. I have to agree.
More innards, less outside pumpkin. That's the only thing I could say.
Yeah.
But having the pumpkin piece, but then again, like it's almost this like tongue-in-cheek kind of comedy thing of it, of being like the inside thing of knowing that it's pumpkin and then just seeing literal pieces of pumpkin flying at people's faces is hilarious, and it kind of adds too. So
fun. So fun.
I actually had several times when like we were filming one and there's the end where the my friend Justin stabs it, and then one guy in the boardroom was like, oh, there needs to be blood on it when you pull it out. And I was like,
no.
What? I agreed with him, but I was also like, this is the last shot of this day. We can't go out and get anything right now. I'm sorry. And then I was watching it with someone else, and she was like, in the very beginning bit, she's like, oh, there's no goo on your knife when there's like the pan up shot. Stabbing it. Like, there is it. Son of a bitch. I've got this great blooper behind the scenes where we filmed half of that last year, and I mixed up a goo, which was salsa and baked beans and ketchup and hot sauce, and I was like dumping it on my face, throwing this goo into my face. And then, like I said, Jen was like, oh, there wasn't anything on the knife. And I was like, I put it all on my face. Fuck. God damn. That's a good note. I appreciate that. But the joke was pumpkins and squash soup, and I
Yeah.
I did not mind going overboard on that joke
Right.
because I found it funny. I
Well,
didn't
there's so
care.
many things that I did enjoy. Is like you have so many tongue in cheek like lines where you're kind of making fun of like the inside things that people know about Tremors.
Yes.
And
Honestly, one of mine, and you guys even said it, was you were talking about your Tremors 5 episode and the would you eat a graboid, and one of you said like, "Oh no, I wouldn't because like it probably has the people in it still," and I was like, "Oh yes, yes." Why does nobody do that? Like they
yeah.
have like your
Yeah,
clothes
no.
and shit. Like that's not fun.
Mhm.
Uh, so I wasn't trying, but thank you. That was more just like squash. Did the squash happen? Because
Yeah.
I love pumpkin.
Yes.
It's great,
Mm.
great effect. So, where would you take Tremors from here? What's your movie ideas? Would you
Oof.
remake it, reboot it? Would you do a legacy sequel, a requel? And both of you separate your whoever you are as people.
Mhm.
What for Tremors 10, 15, 23?
Oh, man. Well, I was thinking because even just like 8, uh, like I'm thinking because like what you take, like you get Jamie Kennedy back, his character's out of jail. You get
Yes.
him and John Heater and
Yes.
Jackie, like you get them together, like these like really great like sidekicks of others, and then you have like some other, and I don't know like what a good, no, you know what? Take it back to perfection again. We're back in Nevada. We're back, and for whatever reason, they've got to like because they've got to team up with Val. We're reuniting with Val. You know what? Bring Grady in. Bring Jack in. Like let's do the what like what was the last Jurassic that I'm just like blanking on because it wasn't Fallen Kingdom, it was the one after
Dominion.
Dominion. You know, we're just like
Bring them
everybody
all in.
bring Heather back, and then even though Bert's not there, like I give Michael Gross a break. He's not in this movie until
The end.
at the very end. You're setting up for the number 9 when this was like all like like we've all done it. We've all worked together. We've done our best. There's some tongue in cheek thing about how like, yeah, we come from different universes, but we can still be friends and get together and work together. And then as they're all together, there's like the only thing we're missing is Bert. And then he rolls up and like, cause the same thing that like Michael even talked about that weekend in Santa Fe is he's like missing legs, like, or a leg or arm. And he like rolls up in this like power chair that's got like a big old bazooka attached to it. And he's just like, "Oh, I'm back for more. You thought they couldn't keep me down. I fought back." Like,
Yeah. I think in my universe, Heather goes and finds him. Like she sees what all the kids are up to and realizing that they're gonna get into a little bit of trouble. They might get through this film, but she goes and finds Bert because she's the only one who can. That's my thought.
Seriously, now I'm sorry. Hold on, I'll take these out.
Mhm.
No, honestly, you said that, and I was just thinking of like Sam J in the Avengers, where it's like, so you think you're the only one that knows how to fight graboids, huh?
Yeah, because I think I talked about that in the episode 7 when we covered that. It's like because we didn't get that crossover because like I would like to see like Jamie Kennedy's character. I would like to see Travis and Freddie giving each other shit back and forth. Like
Yeah.
I
There's
love
a
Fred.
lot of potential for some of the side characters from previous movies to really come together and have fun because their personalities are, I think they'll fit in a way that they're going to probably drive each other crazy. And that could be a lot of fun to watch.
Which, if you haven't watched the TV show, you'll get a great template for how a bunch of people in a melting pot work together like that.
mhm.
That's
Yeah. I have not seen the series, I have not watched it
oh,
because if we're going to cover it, I have to have it fresh in my head. That's how I podcast. I have to have it fresh in my head as we go so that I can be on top of my game.
okay. Well, and I have one note here because what you said it made my little heart melt, and this is for Pake. And the answer is yes, Pake. I will keep Jackie Cruz.
Okay.
No, you were like, whoever runs Tremors, whether it's like
Yeah.
Ron or Steve or Don or Levi, please keep Jackie Cruz. And I was like, I will.
Yeah.
I will.
I meant it. I love her. Ever since Orange is the
Yeah.
New Black. And it was just like when Seven came out and I was like, yes,
Oh,
she's so fun.
one of my favorite parts of that movie. Like that's like I didn't need you to tell me to keep her. I would have kept her anyway. Like she's great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yes,
she's good.
we've had this has been fantastic. We have fucked, married, and killed all the people and the shriekers and we've been critical and positive and beautiful and sad. And I thank you guys so much for being here and taking your time out to run for your tremors. And I do. I thank you guys so much. This has been, like I said, to have journeyed with you the last 2 years of whatever you're doing, and that's only half of what you guys were doing anyway. And I think you've done a fantastic job. You've taught me to be a more positive person when it comes to this. And Daphne, be on the lookout for when I finally do 5, 6, and 7 again. And I'll be like, Daphne told me this, and I'm gonna hold. She's did all right, Don. You did all right, ish, except for that one thing, right there at the
So
end.
there's always that one thing that you
One-
have to, yeah.
When you guys go back and like you have to re-listen to your Tremors 1 episode, like
It'll never happen. I'm not listening to it.
No.
I don't know.
My own episodes. That's where I have a hard opening and a hard ending, and I don't edit the middle besides some thing because I don't need to listen to it. I get it.
We learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from that first episode. I really did. But I listened to it just to edit it, and that was it. I won't listen to myself.
You'll be very surprised. And there's one thing, and I want you to think about Levi when you hear this, is that you thought that Daphne specifically that there were some things that they did bad with special effects in that movie, and I was just like, you need to tell me exactly what the fuck. I will give you the blue screen in the basement, but that movie is like perfect. Like I was very confused by that statement. Like what? Like there's some things they did wrong, but really? That's fine. That's fine. But when you to just remember old Levi when you figure out how that was. So that's my spiel done. I thank everybody in my life. I'm gonna eat an olive and shut up. And I'm gonna let Daphne and Pake have the last word. Thank you all for being on my show.
Yeah, end it like I end a episode of Run for Your Lives, and just thanks for having us on here. And bye-bye.
That's how it goes.
I just
That's
say
how we end
at
it.
the end. That's pretty much it.
If you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. That's it.
What? You're still here? Go on, get.
This part's always terrifying for me because I don't know if you're actually done.
No, we are. It's what we do.
Point later,
Yeah.
but was that it?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I stopped my personal recording, so
Yeah.
No. That was actually I was hoping you did a Run for Your Lives.
That was it. That's what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have to run, you better run for your lives. Peg says bye-bye, and that's it. And sometimes he changes it up. You should listen. You should listen. We have Elmo. Elmo joined our podcast for the start of an episode.
That.
Yeah, I think it was that the Pet Cemetery?
That was
Bloodlines?
Maybe. It was one of the Pet Cemetery ones.
One of the Pet Cemeteries. It was great.
Yeah, so I'm saving my file.
If you need it, yeah,
I'll have it. Let me know.
And I have one too, so.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm still recording. I like, I keep it on my hard drive until one day when we're like 90 years old and we're like, remember when we did a podcast? Ooh. They'll play this at our funerals. Yay. But again, I thank you guys so much for being here. I can't
Yeah,
say
it
it
was
enough.
fun.
Is that a bubble or a cat hair? Sorry, that was weird. Um,
I'm shocked that none of my cats came to visit. Chloe's been coming on more, and Dante has been jumping up on me.
Meow. It is a cat hair. There's another one. Sorry, that's really just. Oh wow, it's the first time I've seen it. Weird. But yeah, I don't want to keep you any longer than you have to. I know it's like 11 o'clock at Daphne's time because
No, it's 10 o'clock, and this is not honestly, this is my late night. I play games.
Yeah, we're getting together with some friends and playing Fall Guys in like an hour from now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
so we
play
could have
that.
another hour. Damn
We
it!
could
No.
have. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we covered everything. There's
Oh, no.
anything else?
I have like 10 more questions here at the bottom, but I always like
10
honestly,
more? Really? 10 more.
oh, Daphne.
10 more questions you had.
Hold on. Hold on. Because I had some up through here. 1, 2, yeah. 3. Oh, damn it, that would have been good. Yeah, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Uh-oh. 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh shit. 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22,
Oh damn.
23 questions. But like,
Really?
oh yes. I like to know people. It's weird. That's
Wow.
It's good to be over prepared. I do the same
Yeah.
thing. I haven't done it in a while and I miss it tremendously, but I've done panel moderating for conventions where I've got like the cast of a TV show or something on stage and I've moderated the panel. And yeah, it's the same thing with those like moderator questions because I end up throwing to the audience and letting the audience ask most of the questions, but I make sure to over prepare. So I do, it's the same, like a whole like list. And then as it's getting like wrap up time, I'm getting the producer on the side of the stage being like, all right, like 45 minutes, like we got to wrap it up in like 2 minutes. And I'm sitting here like, I've still got like 7 or like 8 questions that I would like to get to. And I'm like, I got time for one more on the fly, pick one more. Here we go. Like, yeah. So I get it. It's good to be over prepared.
yeah. I had Jonathan Melville as my last interview, and I had back and front. I had one page, and I did the other page too. And we were like an hour and a half in, and he was like, "I want to keep talking to you, but I ended up scheduling something right now. Could we come back and do a part 2?" And I was like, and he was even like, "Do you have enough questions for a part 2?" And I was like, "Oh, John,
Look at the notebook.
scratch the barrel yet?" Yes, oh, I definitely do. Because he wrote the book, which I thought was hilarious that you were talking in the Tremors 5 episode. If there's a book about Tremors, if there's a Tremors encyclopedia, I'm gonna buy it. And I was like,
He
So-
did. Right
I've got-
after that, I
I've
think
got
he
it.
found it and bought it. It's like, there is one. I'm getting it. And yeah.
and I want you guys to sign mine too. I always have fans sign it too. I need your signatures.
Was he there last year?
Who?
The John, the guy that wrote that.
Oh no. I've been really trying to get him to come this year. I don't know if he will or not.
Because I
And
know there
then
was a few people who have done like some of the collectors that I'm used to seeing in the groups or like some of the artist stuff were there. So I wasn't sure if he was.
There was Zach, and then Mark Davidson, who does the Tremors Underground.
Mhm.
But actually, and then I was trying to get the Spanish guy too, Octavio Lopez San Juan, really wants to come. Who's writing the Spanish Tremors guide? But obviously he's in Spain, so him and John have the same distance, and that's why I really wanted an East Coast one. I was talking about that in our Tremors Fest episode, just to shorten that distance a little. But my
It
other
would,
Well, even
would-
keep it. Well, this is not East Coast. It doesn't make it any better for a lot of those, but from me, because like look at it as like keep it in the Violet Crown family because he owned like there's a Violet Crown in Austin. It's like I think there's one in Dallas too. It's like just come over here.
so East Coast,
Yeah.
at least it's closer to water, I guess. That's the
But I was like, maybe we'll do it in Texas. But yeah, but even the East Coast, I traveled to the East Coast for everything. Nothing
you
comes out here.
do. You were just, I feel like you were just here for,
Really?
yeah, because we had that meetup.
5 episode or anything that couldn't have happened. I don't think so. That's not.
Done what?
No, I was kidding. You obviously recorded the live episode. That was my joke. Like,
yeah.
oh, you didn't record a live episode or anything, did you? No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
Which actually, last thing, and then we'll just end it here. I would love to do short episodes of this show at Tremors Fest. I was already talking to Zach Willie. Why I don't know how to say his last name. And he really wants to do a live episode at the Tremors Fest. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd love to get all the podcasting people and like do a talking Tremors at Tremors Fest. It feels like that should just happen anyway. I don't know why I didn't do it last year.
Yeah,
Probably
that could be fun.
It's fun to record in person. Pake and I finally got to do an episode in person when he came to Boston. I came up to go to Boston, and it was so cool.
If Glenn's still looking at like plans and like putting together scheduling stuff, like I don't know, I'd be down to set up like a little podcast setup down on the bottom of the theater between movies and record like a 30-40 minute episode real quick or something with the podcasters getting together and just or even like an hour and like have some of the cast members something pop in and out and do like 5 minutes or something, like that'd be fun.
Yeah,
2 hours
that'd
in
be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Okay,
it's much easier in person. I think that Zoom is great and works for recording episodes, but when you're in person, I just think it's easier.
It's more fun.
It's more fun. It is super fun.
Like you get to play off the energy in the room. That's always it pops. Yeah. All right. I know you guys want to go play your video game, so thank you.
We've got some time.
We've got an hour. Yeah, we're not playing for an hour.
No, you guys have been great. Like I said, I just we have to go and be like, oh my god, can you believe Levi asked us fuck, marry, kill? Which was guys, like, what is this show?
No, I'm not that. I mean, it's just it's cool. This was easier than when I did an episode of this podcast where I had to try to trick a kid.
Basically. And I guess technically you did.
I did. Did you listen to it?
I did listen to it.
It's so not good. I won't listen to it.
Wait, what?
I was such a wreck.
It's a Disney. There's actually a Disney Plus show that's been made out of it, but there's still a podcast called The Big Fib, and it's literally like kid. So it was like a 10-year-old boy or something that was on yours. He was a smart kid, but not too smart because he got it wrong. But it's not. I
don't know how he got it wrong. The guy didn't know what he was talking about.
It was the one like.
He got hung up on something that
it was
stumbled
like
on.
Yeah, it was like a miscommunication answer that you said that he. But I'm like, kid, if you would have been paying attention to like the whole rest of the thing. But basically, so this kid has to interview or like ask hot seat questions to Daphne and then another guy who are both. So she really is, and then he's pretending to be an expert on ice dance. And so this kid is asking questions and like interviewing them, and then they have to get responses. And at the end of the podcast, he has to decide which one is actually the expert and which one is fibbing, which is lying.
Yeah.
So I do a kid. Now I get it. That's.
And I was honest, except that there was a quick fire round that I couldn't elaborate on an answer, and I needed to. And it kind of tripped the kid up. But the rest of the time, it's like I'm on when it comes to things. But no, he thought the other guy was the expert. I'm like, he was talking about pairs moves. He was talking about people that aren't even ice dancers. Like, I was calling him out on shit the entire time. And the kid still went with him. I'm like, look. Okay, kid. But I got paid. For it. It was like $125, I think. Yeah, and the check actually came.
They got that Disney money. That's what
I got the Disney money.
They got that Disney money.
So I got paid to do that. And
where do I find? What's their email? What do I find? Where
it's called The Big Fib.
Okay.
And they never told me the episode was up. But I found out they had just posted it. I sent it to Pake and said, I'm not sharing this episode with anyone. but I'll send it to you. And I think I sent it to a couple other people. I'm like,
But
I'm
we
not
gotta
promoting
promote it. We gotta cross promote it with our podcast. That was a whole
Yeah.
point. That was the whole
Yes.
plan.
I
Oh, I'm
can. Okay, I will on Runfield Lives. I will totally promote it.
Because we're gonna do an episode, which we're still in the works, whatever. But that's the time to promote that. As I was like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a podcast out there where Daphne is being interviewed by a kid. So let's have an episode of Run for Your Lives where our guest co-host is a kid. We'll have a kid on one of our episodes coming.
Yep,
up.
and we have a kid lined up. Someone who knows.
We searched and looked around and we found us a little kid.
Yes, we did. It wasn't that hard.
No.
Wasn't hard at all.
Don't say it like that. Say it like
We were looking around and we were like,
Yeah.
we need a guest host for the podcast. We were just searching around playgrounds and stuff, and they're like, that's the one, bag him, go. No.
When did you become the grabber?
when he fell in love with Tremors, it sounds like the grabber, you know.
No, I was going
So
to
where
a
are you
different.
taking me? You're gonna be on a podcast. No.
Rodeo.
Are you going to take it? Is he going to be on the podcast or are you going to take him to Cowboy Church?
No,
Cowboy
he's safe
Church.
from that. We're not doing that.
Pake, that is the first time you have ever told me
I'm
that
sure
your
I've mentioned that
dad
before.
goes. No, you have never said my dad goes to Cowboy Church because I would remember that because it's so distinct. I would remember that. I would. I know about the rodeo stuff, but I did not know that he. And I thought there was something to do with the rodeo in church, but never have I heard the words Cowboy Church together.
Mhm.
Oh boy. That's
But I know that for sure. Like, there's no way you hear those two words and go like, you're gonna forget it. That sticks with you.
you know that sticks with you.
I have a new
Cowboy
lesson
Church.
that's in my vocabulary now. Cowboy Church.
Oh my.
What's the name of his? I usually would be able to just like, let's see,
You're gonna wrestle up some grub at the Cowboy Church.
Cowboy Church, Tyler, Texas.
Are
Cross
you
Brand.
gonna? Are
That's
you
what it is
gonna?
because he goes to Cross Brand Cowboy Church. That's.
I bet the food at Cowboy Church is delicious. Ugh, yes.
I've only been there once, and not for a church service because I'm good, but I went to one of his like buck out like rodeo things on like a Tuesday night, and I will say at least the concession stand stuff set up there, that was a damn good burger.
It was a horse burger too.
Oh man, the Cowboy Church. Yeah. I mean, Pake, you're kind of an anti-cow. It's not that you're against cowboys, it's just your whole aura and personality is so opposite of a cowboy. Like you're a Texan, but I do not get a cowboy vibe from you whatsoever.
No.
It's like the flip side. It's definitely not cowboy.
Born in Texas, and when Pake was like, "Oh, I'm from Texas," I was like, "No, okay, no. Where were you? Where are you actually from? What are you talking about? No, you're not."
He's from
No.
Texas. He is.
I realize this, but I don't. Also, like, what?
And we've had tornado warnings in the middle of recording the episode. Like, strange.
I've had to like
yeah.
we had to like push an episode recording back like by an hour because I was like. I like sent a picture to you and then Rima, who was guest hosting that night. And it was like, literally, I went and stood outside my apartment and took a picture of a tornado just down the street. Like you can see the actual, and I was like, this is what I'm actually like looking at. So I was like, I'm going to keep an eye on this, make sure it doesn't come this way. So we're going to record once this is gone.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, his microphone is such a good microphone. It did not pick up any of the tornado warning. Like,
because like the sirens are going off down the road. So I was like, what? And then they're like, they couldn't hear it, but
couldn't hear a single thing. Not a single blare of anything.
What's your microphone brand?
I've got it's a blue. It's a Yeti.
Yep, me too.
Oh my god, me
Yeti.
too!
Yay! I've had this same microphone for 15 years, 14, 13, something like that. Like, oh yeah, it's like because I was doing music recording stuff with this microphone well before I was working with Riley. So like this thing has stood the test of time. It's a great mic.
Yep.
Same one.
Mac M1 chip computers don't like the Yeti though. They're kind of, yeah, they're not friends. They don't get
These
along well.
computer anyway.
What?
What?
What did you say about computers?
Oh, why was I thinking of Apple? That was
It is an Apple. A Mac's an Apple.
sucks. That's my opinion on that.
No.
Unless
Nope.
it's an iMac, get it out of you, and it's got to be the iMac with the colored top, and you can see through it. That's the yes.
Oh,
Give me
so
my.
you're the person who's like tainting up everybody's chat threads with your green bubbles. I see.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so I got invited to be like a Dancing with the Stars for our area or whatever. I still
Did you do it?
I've been practicing. I was just at rehearsal.
I want video proof of this so much. Like, I have to see this.
Do you not believe it? Because nobody else believes it in my life. Like I keep trying to tell them I'm doing this.
No,
like,
I believe it. I would just want to see it.
okay, well, so my dance instructor and my partner were just giving me shit the other night because they're like, "Oh, you're an Android user. That's why
Yep.
you're." So I was like, "Really, guys? This is what we come to." You got
I don't let Android users in my main chat threads for certain things because they clog it up with their so and so liked this and so liked this, and I don't need to know that.
It's so weird, actually, to the point where I mocked them the other night because they did it. Someone liked a bubble thing or whatever. So I literally just copy pasted that message, and I was like, "Liked, hey, all this message. See, I'm an Apple too."
No.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I am a green bubble. I think I don't fucking know, but yeah, I'm doing Labyrinth as my dance number.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. That could be good.
I won't tell you what song, but it's not a song you would think of initially for that. It's not that song.
Are you doing a waltz?
Oh, it's a tango, actually.
A tango. Okay. All right.
And
That could be good.
it's been really funny for us because I have not felt old until I met my dance partner, and I'm 33, which doesn't seem old at all. And she's like 24, and she's never seen Labyrinth. So we're all like trying to explain to her this movie, and all she knows is David Bowie's penis. Like that's it. That's the only thing that she's.
I mean, it's an important thing.
Yes.
It's big. We're like, no, there's like this whole story, and like she's got the power over him, and he's magical or whatever, but it's about her, and she like gives up the baby, and she's just looking at us like, what the fuck is wrong with you? We're like, no, you don't.
It sounds like a fever dream when you're explaining it.
And honestly, I've watched Labyrinth when I was like 10 years old, and I have loved that movie forever. I watched it at 10, and then I watched it when I was 18, and I was like, oh, that guy's penis is huge. Like it didn't register for me initially. It was just all the puppets and the music. And then it's just like it's a fascinating story. I absolutely love that. There's another tangent I could go on, but it was just like, oh my God, you're like 10 years younger than all of us, and you don't know what Labyrinth is, and we can't explain to you in any sense.
No.
You're like, that's when you just go, you have homework. Come back to us next time.
Go watch the movie, and then you'll understand.
Tremors that it was Labyrinth. Like I was like, oh, I love Tremors. I do all this, and there's like giant worms. She's like, oh, it's that Kevin Bacon movie. So that you know.
Of course.
Everybody knows always Kevin Bacon.
Because it's 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. Like that's a thing. It's a thing.
I was thinking about the degrees of Kevin Bacon. If YouTube videos count, because of Zoran being there and doing stuff I was in a video because we did a like podcast video that went on YouTube with Zoran. Zoran did his video with Michael Gross, and Michael Gross was there. So like if YouTube videos count, I am like 2 degrees from Kevin Bacon. So
Pake, you talked to Michael Gross. That you don't need Zoran.
I know, but like if you're thinking about like being in a thing, like I mean, degrees as somebody you've like connected to, sure, but like the typical degrees of Kevin Bacon, like so and so was in this, was in this, was in this. Then even looking at it that way, like being in a movie or like show or whatever, if YouTube videos count, then I've been in a video with a person who was in a video with a person who was in a movie with Kevin Bacon.
You know, I'm gonna let it slide. That's that. But you, that now I need to look at the rules because I'm pretty sure you just have to know a person.
If you
I
just
think
know somebody, if you've met somebody, talked to somebody, then sure, like 1 degree, like with Michael Gross. But I'm thinking like the game is like you play degrees of Kevin Bacon of like you take an actor and you go, well, they were in this movie with this person who was in this movie with this person who was in this movie with Kevin Bacon.
fine. You are.
It's a more complicated
Yeah.
way.
So
So
like by the
what you're
actual
s-
being in a thing, like being in a video, in a piece of entertainment that other people can watch publicly, then I'm still 2 degrees from Run for Your Lives with Zoran to Zoran's Dead Meat interview with Michael Gross with Tremors.
So, okay, so what are you saying? I need to record you interviewing Michael Gross, and then you'll count it in this new way of
If it goes on
tracking
YouTube,
things?
then it's a 1
Okay.
degree. Yeah.
Then it will go on
Or
YouTube.
like, is it 2 degree? Is it one or do you count the degree to Kevin, or is it like I'd have to look it up again.
I think it's the what I think it becomes 0 degrees if you know Kevin, as I understand. Or either that or Kevin is the zero. Like because Kevin knows Kevin, so Kevin is the 0 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine it's 1 degree.
1 degree if you were with Kevin. So then in that case, I would be 3. But if I'm counting the YouTube
Okay,
stuff.
no, I'm gonna fix that because that has to be fixed.
Yes.
That has to be fixed because you can't have Zoran in between you and Michael Gross. Like that has to go away.
So
Yeah,
unless I also appeared, well,
You do. You're in that Tremors
am I
video.
in the Dead Meat video?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I see you back there.
I might be. If that's the case, then we can cut the Run for Your Lives out. And this really, I was in the same Dead Meat video as the interview with Michael Gross, who was in Tremors. So then it would be the 2 or 1, whatever. Yeah. But I don't remember if I saw myself or not in that video, but I might have.
Well, we gotta watch it again. I need you to be equal to my number because if I'm more, I don't like it. I don't like we have to be equal. I'm gonna have problems with that. We're like, no, Pake, we're equals. We're both.
Or we can just like level it out to the lowest possible and we get Kevin at Tremors Fest.
Dude, it's not gonna happen. He doesn't do conventions like at all. Like at all. Oh my god, he doesn't. He doesn't. Like we're never. Maybe we'll get Reba because of Michael Gross. I feel like Michael Gross is the one person who could get anyone,
Right.
and because he's got the Reba connection, he's like, "Hey, babe, we could, get together again." And I think that we'll luck out on that. But Kevin,
well, because Reba still definitely has love for it, which not to say Kevin doesn't, because he does too, but because that was the thing. Is like how I found out that Reba opened up that like restaurant and bar and like little venue in Oklahoma is because they did a Tremors screening at her restaurant at her place a while back. And I was like, what? This place exists?
So that seems to be, honestly, to me, that seems like a logical step. Like for her to come. Even if it's just for a day. Just so Pake can talk to her.
Oh, just once.
And I'll just photograph it from afar so that he can always have the memory of not crying. He's gonna have to be
promises.
He's gonna have to be like partially high for that.
I don't know. I'm not risking it.
A sip. A little sip.
I don't know.
He
doesn't. We gotta just get
yeah.
Kevin there, and then if we do the podcast thing, and then have him pop on and talk on the podcast for 2 minutes, and then it's like, all right, cool.
Look, I had Kevin on my show. You were on the show, right?
That would be fun. It's just as like, just to say that we've had Kevin Bacon as a special guest, have him come sit down at the table, go to the microphone and go, hey everybody, how you doing? And then get up and walk off and go back to doing whatever he's doing. And it's
Yep.
like Kevin Bacon, everybody.
Yeah. I think it works.
That's actually I have plot lines for my other Tremors movies, and one that I really want to do is to go to Tremors Fest and have like Michael Gross there, and my character being like, the graboid things are real, and Michael Gross just being Michael Gross, like that's just a movie. As Burt Gummer's not real. This is not a thing. Why are you telling me?
Why can't you do it? Like, why can't you film just that part?
I actually could. So that's actually okay. So I always you have to think about how to circumvent the rules, because I imagine that there's a contractual rule that Michael is not allowed to play Burt Gummer anywhere. He can't play Burt Gummer because technically Burt Gummer is a universal character.
Right, but he can be himself.
He can play Michael Gross.
And he can say, don't you know that that's just a movie, kid?
I had wanted to do that last year, but he was only there for like a day, and I wanted him to do the message for my nephews more. So they were more important than that. But it was like, so if you're there for all 3 days this time, Michael,
I'm sure he'd take a few minutes to set aside a little scene. Yeah. Like...
Yeah.
Bathroom, and I'll just be like, just hey, look, the graboid things are real. Look, kid, I'm trying to take a piss. Okay. Then I would have Michael Gross in. Actually, and that was and I'm always trying to tell people about my movie, and I try not to be offended when people are like, "Oh, if Michael Gross isn't in it, I don't care." And that's where I love Daphne. He's just like he is the through line for it or whatever. And talking about that Avengers Initiative thing, it's like, man, I would just love to like have Michael Gross do a 30-second cameo of like a video like this of just like he's got glasses on and the mustache, and he's just like staring at the camera like it's just like a Zoom call. Actually, to that point, this is a great idea that somebody gave me when I do my next movie. I need you guys in it. You in it? No. There's a thing. We're doing this where I'm going to have all of my podcasting friends on a Zoom call as if you're like conspiracy theorists talking about the graboids being real. That way I can get everyone that's ever like been awesome into one.
That would be fun.
That would be fun.
We're all like cryptozoologists, like podcasters and stuff. Like,
yep.
Jeff Johnson of the Sons and Shadows podcast gave me that idea. I was like, I'm stealing that. Oh, thank you so much. You'll get writing credit. That's amazing. Just to have like, I want to work. That was my whole point. And I want Pake. I want to see your Tremors movie. I know that seems really stupid, but I will come to Texas and I will help you make it. Because I don't care. I want everyone to make their own Tremors movies and them to be awesome. And I want to get everybody in it, and it's so much fun to do that. And oh my God, Don Michael Paul's in another movie. That was so. Yeah. Sorry, I just went on a tangent there. But Don liked the movie. I was like, oh, after all I've shit on your movies.
I think it's more impressive that I thought that your squash soup was good.
I think that's a better review than Doc's. I will give you that.
Yeah. You can put quotes on it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But in essence, we got to get Kevin on all of our podcasts here, and we'll do that. This will be a combo. Kevin's just eating a hot dog, and we'll just come up and be like, "Hey, Kevin, you're on the Run for Your Lives podcast. Just let me eat." That was Kevin Bacon, everybody. Hey,
yeah. We've got a real deep, hard-hitting question for Val from Tremors himself. Kevin Bacon, what are you having for lunch today? It's chicken salad. Fuck off. All right. Yeah.
And thank you
that was Kevin
much.
Bacon. Thanks so much.
And now back to our regularly scheduled podcast. Already in progress.
It counts, okay? Definition here. It counts. Yeah. All right. We have winded down here. And like that was the whole episode. Now end it for real. Last words, go.
I think
If
it'd
you-
still be yeah.
Oh, hold on.
She unplugged her. She's
Plug
out.
this
She's
in.
done. Unplug her headphones. She's like, I'm not doing anymore.
We didn't end it. This is all for real. This was all part of the episode. We're gonna pretend. We'll see. I'll figure out if I want to edit it out or not. But give me another ending that's a real ending. Give me your last words. Pake, Alan, and Daphne Backman.
If you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.
That's what you're getting, Levi.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you get.
No, Caitlin fucked with me when she did it. She's like, you don't know if I'm done yet. And it's just killing you. And it's like, I can't say anything. What to do here.
No, that's how it ends.
That's kind of why I like to do it, is leave the guest with the last word. So that way I don't know. It's not, people think that you're in charge of your own podcast, but you're not. If you guys are here, I have to defer unless it's a live show. Oh, by the way, this has been live to TikTok. You've been on TikTok the whole time. Yeah, imagine that plot twist.
Sure.
Yeah, no, you don't want to. You don't want to be live on TikTok. You don't
I
wanna be-
haven't said anything that I'm ashamed of.
Some
Oh,
interesting
no,
people.
those people are awful. Those people are the worst. Like that's
On TikTok?
I get some real hateful comments sometimes. That's not fun at all.
Really?
It's not fun at all. Like you just ignore it and keep riding the wave and keep going forward.
Huh.
I understand. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not on that one. Like I'm not on that platform. I have looked at stuff on that platform, but I don't have an account. I mean, maybe I do and I don't remember, but I don't post anything. That's for sure.
I think I've posted 2 videos to TikTok. 3, 4, but they're like stupid things. Like, yeah.
Trevor Sutton has 13,000 followers on TikTok, so it's a great avenue for using things.
Mm-hmm.
Does Levi sound like a robot to you?
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Mm-hmm.
Talk for another 2 hours. Honestly, that's why I love talking to you guys. It's been so much fun.
Well,
That was a
thanks for
blast.
having us on. It was fun.
Thank you for talking, Tremors, and all that you have done. And I hope you really enjoy going back and listening to your thoughts and episodes like that.
Never going back and
I don't know.
listening.
I don't know.
I know we've come a really long way, and that's all I need to know.
Yeah. Just well, that's why we're doing it again. Is just whole new light, whole new format, style. We've changed so much. So it's like, yeah, let's give it a different look.
Let me give you a positivity note that has changed things. A lot of actually all of the podcasts that I like listening to. The pilot episode, flaws and all, when you have the energy and the chemistry down from the beginning, it doesn't matter if you fucked up or if you're not right or perfect. It flows to the point where I understand where you want to go back and redo it. You guys had it. You had the it factor from the very beginning. It's one of those things as I love TV shows the most when you have a show that has a great pilot episode.
Yeah.
Because the pilot episode of a show can be drastically different than the rest. You have one that has that good pilot from the get-go. You know the rest of the ride is going to be fantastic. And that is you guys. And I would put
Thank you.
top of many of the podcasts that I listen to. And I listen to and comment and rate and review and am very critical of lots of podcasts. And you have it from
Thank you. Make sure you check out this week's episode. We talk about pneumonia. Yeah, pneumonia. It's yeah. Yeah. I'm really proud of this one.
Mhm.
I'm really proud of this one. The movie and the discussion were
back catalog that I really got to go through.
yeah, we've done some really good ones this season. Pneumonia is one I'm really proud of.
I felt like
the
I went
discussion.
on a little too long, but I had too many notes where I was like, no, I want to keep talking, but it was fun.
Yeah, it's really good. I like sometimes, it's good to do fun movies or silly movies, but then there's some that have a deeper message, and I just think we kill it when we do those because sometimes you have to get a little raw in what you're talking about, and I feel like we do that very well.
I have a lot of fun and silly episodes of this show, but my favorite episodes are always the ones where I have like something to say and I really get into it and just like. But I think that's your fun ones can only be fun because of the sadness, and your sad ones can only be sad because of how fun the fun ones are. Like that's
Yeah.
your pilot energy chemistry from the beginning. Like you guys got it, and I'll see you on episode 1000 when you're Tremors season 4. It's and you're running the Talking Tremors podcast network because I know you will be. But then you can take it. I don't enjoy.
You did, Levi. You did your research. You know how many things I'm doing.
I do. That's why I asked. I do my research because I know that I'm not good enough on that. That's my uh nope. Nope. We're not I'm fine. I'm a good person. I have value. You have value. We all have value. Sorry, I was that was about to go. No. It's why I say I like to my middle, I have the hard opening and the hard cut at the end. But the middle I have learned through the years how to make sure that we have a fun time, and that's my
That's the most
thank.
important thing.
Yeah.
It has to be fun. It has to be fun, or why are you doing it? And it's always been fun. I think even from that episode, our Tremors episode, where I was a bit of a wreck. So nervous.
You say you were like
I was a wreck.
Like way more of a wreck than you did, Daphne. And there's nothing against Pake. Like I thought you sounded fun, but you were telling me that at the beginning. And I was like, what? I not seeing. Okay,
it's great. I mean, I'm glad that you say that because that makes me feel like, oh, okay, I must have hidden it really well. I was really nervous, and for a long time, I doubted myself really bad. Like I just didn't. And at one point, the only thing that mattered was that Pake liked it and we were having fun. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, as long as we're having fun and Pake's happy, then I'm good. Because he had more experience than me. And I was just worried, like, that I wasn't going to measure up to the astronomical benchmarks that I set for myself. Because I'm my own worst critic. And so I had to break it down to something I knew I could live up to, which was, am I having fun? And is Pake having fun? And then that's all.
Make the podcast for yourself first, and then if other people like it, great. But it's more important, are you having a good time and do you enjoy what you're doing?
Right. And so once I knew that we were on the same page with the podcast, I started to get more comfortable. And the episode that I think I really, and it's still one of my favorites, that I felt like I started to really let the wall down and the guard down, was Black Sheep. That was episode 6 or 7, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's when
really building up. You got homework to do. Like, got to listen to The Happening, it's the Black Sheep.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
listened to The Impossible.
The
That episode.
Impossible. Yep. The
The one
Impossible.
wave?
Mhm.
Yeah, the one with baby Tom Holland. Yeah. Yeah. And then we just did the sequel, which is Society of the Snow.
The sequel. Yeah. Directly.
J.A. Bayona
The
did both of
tsunami
them.
hit and then it all froze and then an airplane crashed into it. It was
Yeah.
crazy. The exact sequel to that. No.
Yeah, no. We did Society of the Snow, which I really wanted to do. So I was happy. But they were both two very serious movies. And I love those episodes, like, because of it. The ones that stick out to me are not the big blockbuster like Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. Those aren't the episodes that stand out to me. It's the episodes, the ones with it that are deeper, have a bigger message, or were absolutely ridiculous. Which Black Sheep was absolutely ridiculous. And I just completely relaxed. I think it was the first one that I drank a White Claw while we were recording, and that helped. Pake's like, drink a White Claw. Why don't you try that? And it helped. And now I don't need to anymore because I feel really comfortable. So I don't need it. I don't need a warm-up period. Like I used to need half an hour of nobody bothering me so that I could just get myself in the zone and calm down. Don't need that anymore. I've come a very long way and I'm very proud of myself. And I'm very proud of everything that we've done because it's just been fun. I'm having fun. I get to talk with one of my best friends every week and talk about movies. And it's just amazing. I look forward to it.
Yeah, this week's going to be ridiculous.
This week is going to be ridiculous. I'm so glad. I'm so excited. You haven't even seen it yet, and
I haven't. It's a level of camp that I've kept myself away from. We're gonna do Sharknado, the first Sharknado this week, so that's gonna be fun.
Yes.
Even I haven't gone there, and now I think I'm.
He gave me a choice. He gave me a choice of 3, and I picked that one. Yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good. Because I think sometimes we have episodes that are really dark, and so you need one that's absolutely convoluted and ridiculous. And that represents everything that is ridiculous in movies. I mean, for me, Ian Ziering is Steve Sanders from 90210. And so I have Steve Sanders fighting sharks. And it's just nuts. It's a sci-fi movie. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous, and I'm good with it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be, yeah.
I'm living for your giggle right now. It's oh my God, what is this? You just little oh my God. I am living for it. Thank you. It's bringing me.
It's fun. I look forward to it. I like having things to look forward to. And during the pandemic, I didn't have anything. I was really depressed, to be honest. And I couldn't do anything I wanted to do. I wanted to go shoot skating, and I couldn't do that. And I couldn't go to trivia, and I couldn't do all the things that I love doing. And I felt like I couldn't manage my mental health the way that I normally would. And I just got active in this group that Pake's in. And he was one of the first people that friended me once I started coming to the call-ins and stuff. And yeah, we just became really good friends. He got me into wrestling. Yeah, I'm serious. Right here. My Valentine's Day present from my fiance is 2 action figures from AEW. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
So, and Pake and I have had some fun adventures. We went to a pay-per-view together and had tons of fun. It's like,
Whole wrestling
yeah,
week. That was fun.
getting
In
a whole
Vegas.
wrestling week. This is gonna be longer than that when I come to Dallas, but it's gonna be fun. We get to go to Meow Wolf in Santa Fe. I'm so excited to go to Meow Wolf. Yes,
It-
Levi.
I need to go. Like that was my one. Like, oh my god, we did see Meow Wolf last year. I am
Gotta
going.
do
Like,
it. Yeah.
both like we have to go this year. That looks so awesome.
We
Yeah, it was a
went,
lot of fun.
yeah, last year for my birthday. We went to Meow Wolf, and he surprised Pake got one of our friends to come up from Houston to go
Yeah,
with
'cause
us.
there's one in Dallas that just opened last year. So we went like literally like the week after they opened to
Yeah,
the Dallas Meow Wolf, and
yeah,
yeah, had another member of like the podcast network
yeah,
from Houston drive up and just like surprise her there to like go
yeah.
through it with us. So that was
I had
cool.
no idea. It I missed, I didn't get to go to a, there was a big thing for The Walking Dead for our podcast group that when the show ended in San Francisco, but my gallbladder decided to vacate the premises. And so I missed it. And so it's just really nice to get to see Rebecca. And just, yeah, I feel like just getting to do fun stuff again. So I went down to photograph. Every year I go to Dallas. I didn't before the pandemic, but when they decided they were going to hold the Dallas event, I think it was 18 months after I had photographed last, I said, I'm going to this. This is the first competition since the pandemic. I'm going. I don't care. It's in Dallas. Okay, I'm going. And so I told Pake, I'm like, I'm coming to Dallas. I've got a competition. And so,
And I was like, great, I know exactly where to take you. We're going to this place and this place and this
yep,
place. It's like, you're coming to my
yep,
area, my place. Let's do it.
yep. So every year I come to Dallas for that competition. And this year it just worked out that the competition is the weekend before. And so I'll be in Dallas shooting till like Monday, and then we're gonna hang out and then
you're just
fly.
gonna stay for the whole week and like
Yep.
hang out. You'll get to meet Riley in person.
I am
this time, so
so
that'll be cool.
excited about
We'll
that.
make sure to hook that up and get you to like see him and him, and then we'll just fly out to Santa Fe, or we'll probably fly to Albuquerque and rent a car and drive
Yeah,
up this
I
time.
think that's what we're
'Cause
gonna do.
I flew directly into Santa Fe last year, and that airport is like this tiny little like 2-gate airport in the middle of the desert, like
Yeah.
regional, and like no Uber or Lyft or anybody. Nobody would go out there. Like I had to like get like a private like driver that would pick me up.
So we'll drive
I
ourselves.
was like, let's do Albuquerque and maybe we'll get there early enough to like before driving up to Santa Fe because it's like an hour. Maybe we can go hit up some like Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad spots or something and like see a couple little things and then head up to Santa Fe.
Yeah. So that's our plan. This is how I get to have a vacation, because most of my paid time off goes to going to competitions. And so I have a regular job, and then I go shoot skating, and my vacations are things like a couple extra days in Dallas, or when we had our podcast meetup, those types of things. This will be like a vacation. I'll actually have like a little over a week where I don't work. I just get to go have fun. And there's this one really cool restaurant that Pake always goes to that I'm dying to go to.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, we're going to do that. I'm going, yeah, we're actually going to go to Tyler, like where Pake lives. So yeah, I'm excited to have.
Oh, yeah. I will get us reservations and set up, and
I'm excited. Time there. Yeah. It's going to be great.
Hopefully Chef Lance will be there.
So like, what's the restaurant?
It's called Culture.
Culture.
ATX. So it's here in Tyler, but it's like the guy who owns it is awesome. He's such a good dude. Like I bought and downloaded his episode of Chopped that he has on my phone, like on Amazon. He's been on, so like he's like chef like level, like quality. It's fun whenever I go in there because it's like a reservation only like place for dinner. Like you can't just like walk in. Like you've got to. It's it's fancy, but it's also super casual. Like he wants to make it like very like approachable and casual while also being like high end. But it's funny if he's there because it's very open. Like you can see the kitchen the whole time. Like you can watch everybody working. And it's funny to watch him in there because he's like that chef. Like I'll see him out there where he's like, they'll set like a plate up before it goes to the table. He'll go over there and he'll like turn the thing and like move. Like he's got his little tweezers and he'll move like a little piece of parsley like this. And then he'll pull like this little like salt thing out of his pocket and like here, like add a little here, make sure it's plated perfectly. Okay, now it can go. Like he's funny, but he's great.
So Pate goes with Riley every year. Like they go.
Yeah, it's been our like
And,
tradition the past
yeah.
like 4 or 5 years. I take it. We go like the week or two before Christmas and have our like Christmas like dinner there together.
Yeah. So now I finally get to go. I'm so excited. And I've been to Buc-ee's. I mean, that's one place Peg takes me every time is Buc-ee's. You're like, you have to go. It's a thing. It has
The
to happen.
Mecca, the promised land.
That's the picture that Sledgehammer used, is this one picture that Peg and I took at Buc-ee's. Basically to send to Jeff because he's a friend of ours that doesn't. He always asks for me or Peg to explain what it is, and we just say it's amazing.
You just have to.
You just have to experience it. And he can't stand it. That's how we describe it. He's like, yeah, but what is it? It's amazing. It's
Buc-ee's.
It's Buc-ee's.
It's a
like
magical land.
It is. It's just it's a cool place. It's a real cool place. And yeah. So this year, since I'll be there longer, we'll have more time to hang out and go see Pake things, since I'll be in Tyler and see that's where, it's not Dallas. So
yeah, like with like the biblical, like the land of milk and honey, Buc-ee's is like the land of beef and candy. It's just
it is. And I love all the candy. They were selling, I think, was it there that I got the bricks?
Yeah.
The little, oh my gosh.
They're candy
not
Legos.
good.
Like
candy
Lego
Legos
that you can like build with and then you eat it after. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Candy
know if they have those
Legos.
anymore. They always like
I don't think
stuff
they
in and out. They
do.
cycle stuff in and out. Like I was mad that they took away my yogurt pretzels for a long time, but then I was there like 2 or 3 weeks ago and they were back and I got me a thing of yogurt pretzels. So.
Yeah. They had this really cool chocolate and peanut butter thing.
It's back.
Oh, just love those.
They have a cookies and cream one now. Cookies and cream.
Oh.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, we're all about food. I'm not. I eat plain things. Like I'm very weird about food, but I'm working on getting a little more adventurous. I'll eat just about anything now as long as it's not got like vinegar in it, because I hate vinegar. Like it's like a real serious hatred since childhood.
I have this jar of Cinnamon Toast Crunch Frosty right here too.
Oh,
I don't know why I was just eating it before this episode. I had to come clean.
I had a job once where each of us used to keep like frosting at our desk to eat. I don't know why. It was just a thing that we used to do. Yeah, we just would keep frosting. It's like, yep. Mm-hmm.
It's like that
and a spoon.
Open peanut butter on his counter, so just grab it and just eat peanut butter in the middle of the night. Caitlin does. She was like, "Oh my god, that's me," and I was like, "I'm aware. I see the jar on the counter all the time."
I go through peanut butter. What I do is I have peanut butter and jelly, but I don't keep bread in my apartment. I try not to keep bread. So I just have peanut butter and jelly, no bread, but then I just take a bowl and I just put like a couple spoons of peanut butter, a couple spoons of jelly, and just mix it up and just eat it that way. It's good to go.
I would do that with Nutella, but no jelly. Peanut butter and Nutella would be.
Only one question. Pake, how high were you when you discovered that?
Stone cold sober. I just like food and good stuff. And I was like, I want a peanut butter and jelly, but I'm trying not to eat as many carbs and bread. So I'm like, I'm just going to put peanut butter and jelly together.
Yeah.
The end.
He likes some pretty interesting concoctions.
I want to tell Caitlin that, and I think she just might start doing that now. So
Yeah.
thank you. Because I don't hate it. It's like that's it's like I've heard worse ideas. It's pretty good actually. Just put them in the same bowl.
There you
Super.
go.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a fan of interesting things.
hell,
He's
you
a
do that.
foodie. He's a big foodie.
Ooh.
And I'm the opposite. But I'm trying to be more adventurous. It's hard. Growing up in Maine, my mom, like, seafood is my favorite thing. But my mom didn't make us try food that she didn't think we would like. She never pushed us. So I like a lot of bland stuff because I never tried things, but there have been like foods that I've tried that I didn't know I liked until like adulthood.
And then I'm like the opposite spectrum where I'm
Mhm.
like, if I go to like a new place, it's literally find the weirdest sounding thing on the menu, and that's what I'm gonna go for.
Mhm.
Like somebody's like, hey, I bought like my friend Jeff, that like my dungeon like DM, like when I play D&D, like the dungeon master there. Like he'll text me, he's like, well, before I go over for D&D, and he's just like, what was it that he bought? Like an unagi, like eel sauce, like an unagi cola. It's like a like Coca-Cola, but like with eel flavor, like the uni. And he was like, I've got this if you want. And I go, that sounds insane and weird. I'm so in. Let's do it. Like,
Well, I mean, you did try the Beverly at the Coke factory. That did not go well.
no.
One of our friends went there just recently, one of my skating friends, and it's someone that annoys me. So I made sure to tell him to be or to try the Beverly soda.
Mm-hmm. So bad. However, there was the what? It was like some kind of like Chinese Fanta. It was supposed to be like a
And it didn't, wasn't it like
very.
barbecue?
It tasted like barbecue sauce, and I was like, it's weird, but why do I keep going back for more?
It's just weird stuff. Because the Coke, it's the Coke Museum in Atlanta, and we were there for there was a Fandemic convention, and we went to the Coke Museum. They have all these weird sodas to try. And the Beverly was real bad. I didn't try it.
What
But
is the
then
beverage? You keep saying that. What? What?
it's Italian, right?
I think so. It's set. Is it supposed to be like their take on like squirt or something? Like it's supposed to be
Yeah.
grapefruit,
Yeah.
but like it doesn't taste like grapefruit. It's just like it's like if you took just the bitter aftertaste of grapefruit and then made it way too carbonated. That's pretty
Yeah.
much what it is. It's just carbonated bitter, and it was
Yep.
not great.
Yeah, there's a reaction video somewhere online of Pake drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, because I
If
think
he doesn't like it, none
I'll
of
eat or
us
drink
will.
literally anything and be like, okay. And so I was like, well, it can't be that bad. You see me like take a shot of it and go, oh no.
No. No. And his face is just like, yeah, it's very sour expression. Like, no. No.
Like I think that
No.
was just my initial gut reaction was going, oh no.
Yeah, no. That was so funny. Oh my God. Just, that was another adventure. When we went there, that's when Pate got to do some panels, and I got to see him do panels
Yeah, you got to
for the
witness.
first time.
Got to talk to Kaylee Fleming because that was cool. Because it's like I was like, because I remember asking her, like, I don't remember much anything, but just being like at that point talking to her because she was probably what, like 13 or something. But then being like,
Yeah.
it's like, all right, because I think one of my questions was like, what's next? What's the next big franchise? Like, you're officially in the MCU. You're officially in Star Wars because she played young Rey in the flashbacks thing, and then she was the young Sylvie in Loki when they like took her away. And so it's just like, all right, you've been in Star Wars, you've been in Marvel. Like, what's next? And now
What
she's
is
starring in
there?
that Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski movie. If
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds, John Krasinski, that's all you need to know.
mm-hmm.
It's going to be good.
Steve Carell. Huh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's where I took that picture. It's still your profile picture. when you were doing the panels.
Oh, that was when I was up on the stage.
yeah.
I've been wondering where that's from. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you. Not connected.
Yeah.
That
I
was.
brought my
I think that was
camera.
during that panel with
Yeah.
Kaylee, Chandler, and Sarah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was catching up on Letterkenny, and I was like, did I ever remember to ask Sarah about Letterkenny? I don't remember if I did.
You look so happy in that picture, Pake.
What?
You look so happy in that picture.
I was
He
very
was
happy
so
because it was my
happy.
first convention. It was my first time moderating in like years, and I missed it.
Yeah.
You are
he
effervescent in that
Mhm.
picture. It is.
He was so happy. It was cool to get to see him do that after he had told me for a couple of years, like what it was like. And
Yeah, it was great for like our like Podcastica moderator team to do because I had like me and Rima shared like that Walking Dead, like the Kaylee and then like I had Cooper and Kari, which are always a blast. And then Rima got to do the Gilmore Girls one, which was so much fun to sit up there and watch her have fun with that.
Yeah.
And then Ben had the one-on-one with Carrie Elwes, which was awesome.
Which we had to talk him into.
Yeah, because he was like, I might give Carrie Elwes to somebody else. Like, no, you're fucking doing it.
Oh my god. It was tough love. Like we gave him tough love because he was gonna give it up because he was busy doing a lot of things because he was assisting with panels, like the scheduling and all this stuff. And we're like, nope, Ben, you're doing it.
And then Jason had one that weekend, didn't he? One or two.
He had one or two.
I don't remember.
I don't remember who it was, but I didn't have my camera with me that day. I brought my actual like skating shooting camera with me so I could take pictures.
And then Ben, remember him texting me like the night before I like flew out, wanting to know if I want to do the Arrow one with Stephen Amell and Katie Cassidy, and I was like, I'm like 4 seasons behind on that show. I can't do it justice. I was like, I don't know.
But we went to it.
We went to it. We watched it.
Yeah.
But then, because I was like, I'm so behind on Arrow. I was like, I could talk to Steven about heels, but he doesn't want to talk about that. This is an Arrow thing. So
I would have talked to him about heel. Oh my god. Such a great show that nobody watched. Such a good one. It's a wrestling one. What?
Face where you're just like, nobody watched it.
They didn't. It's annoying because it's a really good show. Like it had 2 good seasons, and it got canceled.
Second season ended with like the biggest cliffhanger ever.
Yep.
And then they're like, and now it's canceled.
Yep. And I don't think it's coming back. I think no one picked it up, and he's going off to do something else. So it's like, okay. It had heart. Like it was a good story. It was a wrestling story. So it was fun to watch and see. It was cool.
All right. Well, now we do probably need to go.
Now we do need to go because I just got a message from Jerry.
Have to be
saying on my way. So he must be on his way to play. Yeah. It's our Tuesday thing. It's fun. Thank you. Thank you, Levi.
Always welcome. That was really okay. One last one, just in case I want to use all this one. What are your last words? Go.
If you have to run, you better run for your lives.
Bye-bye.